Cornhuskers are aiming for a national title, and the leader of the pack is quarterback Steve Taylor. Keith Jones is adding to the tradition of great Cornhusker I-backs, while the defense likes to hit and hurt. The Cowboys are rushing to the top of the conference on the legs of Thurman Thomas. The Oklahoma State senior is leading the nation in rushing, and along with fiery coach Pat Jones, the Cowboys are off to their finest start in more than 40 years.
Second-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers, and we got it all in front of me. Let's get this done. Let's go.
It's Nebraska versus Oklahoma State. College football next on CBS. With a glorious October afternoon here in the heart of Oklahoma. Lewis Field in Stillwater seats 50,000. We'll have at least that many here as the Cornhuskers of Nebraska meet the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Both teams come in with 5-0 records. It's the best Oklahoma State start since 1945. Now for an update around the country, let's go to Jim Nance in New York.
Welcome to New York on this big day of college football. As we speak, there are only 7 undefeated, untied teams in major college football. And today we have 3 of them in action here on TV.
More than 50,000 expected this afternoon in Lewis Field, Stillwater, Oklahoma, equidistant between Oklahoma City and Tulsa, for this Big 8 encounter between the second-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers and the 12th-ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. The last Oklahoma State victory 26 years ago. It happened in the fall of 1961. Cliff Spiegel was the Oklahoma State coach then. Bill Jennings, the Nebraska coach. David Hanna punting for Oklahoma State. Nebraska's Willie Ross can't handle it. Tommy Word recovers for OSU on the 1-yard line, leading to the Cowboys' first score. Then late in the fourth quarter, Bill McFarland cinches OSU's victory with a 1-yard TD burst. 26 years ago, OSU beat Nebraska 14-6. It has been a long drought since then. Nebraska leads the series 24 games to 2 with 1 tie. That was in 1973. And here come the undefeated and second-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. Head coach Tom Osborne now in his 15th season and the 3rd most winning coach in NCAA football. And the Oklahoma State Cowboys 5-0 for the year, best start in 42 years. Their head coach now in his 4th season in Stillwater, 40-year-old Pat Jones. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist, along with Dick Vermeil, and welcome to Stillwater, Oklahoma. Nebraska comes in with the acknowledged great program in football, one of the best in the country. Oklahoma State would like to get to that level. And, Dick, in that sense, what does this game mean and what do you expect?
Well, Vern, you have to realize this. There is no written rule in the Big 8 that says Nebraska or the best team has to win. Today, the teams are close enough matched that the team that plays the best will win the football game. Oklahoma State and their coaching staff, the squad, they're convinced that they're closely matched to Nebraska, and if they play up to or beyond their ability, to whip them. On the other hand, Nebraska, they're used to that responsibility of beating people at their best. They're confident they can do it, but they realize that Oklahoma is better than in the past.
Well, as the afternoon wears on, keep your eye on the special teams. Both of these teams, Oklahoma State and Nebraska, have terrific kicking outfits. We'll be back for the opening tip, the coin toss and the kick from Stillwater, Oklahoma, as CFA...
About the 39-yard line.
Yes. That's not unusual. It's the 17th time a Nebraska team has been 5-0. But it is unusual for Pat Jones's team. As a matter of fact, 1945 was the last time this team was 5-0. Pat Jones reminded them of it a week ago.
Let me remind y'all of one thing. Since the end of World War II, which was 1945, there has only been one team in the history of this university to start off 5-0, and it's us.
I rather imagine imagine he's been repeating that theme throughout the week, though it doesn't mean that much to the kids because they weren't born back then.
No, but with all that enthusiasm and intensity, I think the key to the coaching in this game is to keep his squad intense but disciplined. Just don't go out there and fly around blindly.
Cold front moved through yesterday, didn't cause any problems, and we have a terrific afternoon, 71 degrees, 40% humidity. Forecast continued sunny and a slight breeze out of the south at 3 to 8 miles per hour. You know what's coming at the end of that sign. Yep, that's the Nebraska section, about 10,000 strong down here. Oklahoma State won the toss. Nebraska will kick off. Chris Drennan, number 16, will do the kicking chores for Nebraska, a sophomore from Cypress, California. And Oklahoma State is averaging 24.8 yards per kickoff return. Barry Sanders, number 21, and Mitch Nash are the two deep men.
This has been an exciting part of both teams' football, the return teams, and I think you fans watching the game don't get up and leave at a punt return and kickoff return time.
Drennan, the left footer. It'll come to the near side. That's a free ball, and finally Mitch Nash has to fall on it. He waited dangerously long, but then finally pounced on the floating football at the 11-yard line. At quarterback for Oklahoma State, a sophomore, Mike Gundy.
Exciting.
Garrett Limbrick won't carry the ball much because they have the All-American Thurman Thomas at tailback.
Number 1 in the country.
At the skill positions, the wide receivers, both 6'4", Hartley Dykes and Ronnie Williams. Ronnie Williams was a starting quarterback a year ago, early in the season. Gave way to this man, number 12, Mike Gundy. First down from the 11. Gundy's going deep on first down, and the receivers slipped. The pass is overthrown. Gerard Green, number 19, had come in with a special play to open the game, and he was there. At center for Oklahoma State, John Bovair. He is flanked by the guards, Chris Stanley and Doug Meacham. And the tackles, Mike Wolf and Byron Woodard.
Woodard, a 300-pounder.
Probably the best of that front bunch.
Definitely.
Really an average offensive line. The tight end is Brian Keith, and J.R. Dillard will play a lot in that spot, too. 2nd and 10. Thurman Thomas to the 14-yard line. He gained 3.
Vern, as you watch Thurman Thomas run, you'll note that when he gets into traffic and into cracks, he really lowers that center of gravity and finds that gap to run through.
There's Thomas. Nebraska's defense will line up this way. Lawrence Pete is the nose tackle. Others on the front line, Neil Smith and Tim Rother.
Quality pair.
Broderick Thomas and Jeff Jamrog are the ends. Gerard Green comes in as a third wide receiver again on 3rd and 7. Gundy with a straight drop back has time. Knocked down. It'll be 4th down. Intended for the tight end, Brian Keith, number 82. That brings up a 4th down. And the left-footed punter comes on.
It's a nice punt, Brian. He gets pretty good hang time out of it.
Dana Brinson. Good field position for the Cornhuskers at the 49-yard line. Steve Taylor will open at quarterback after that 44-yard punt and 8-yard return. Taylor missed last week with a shoulder injury. Micah Heibel and Keith Jones are the running backs. Wide receivers Rod Smith and Dana Brinson in the wingback spot. And it's first down 10, Nebraska from their 49-yard line. Pat Jones, the Oklahoma State coach, said the first 5 minutes of each half would be critical. From the eye. Pitch to Jones, comes right. Bounces off a tackle and picks up 3 additional yards to the 46-yard line of Oklahoma State. Wade Weller makes the tackle. At center for Nebraska, Jake Young. The offensive guards for the Cornhuskers, Andy Keeler, and the best of the bunch, John McCormick.
They say this guy is an all-American caliber player.
Bob Sledge and Kevin Leitner. Those haircuts look like 1961.
They look the part, don't they?
Yeah. Tom Banderas is the tight end. Todd Milliken also comes in now at a 2 tight end set. 2nd down and 5. tackle on Keith Jones.
Concentrate as we come back in the end zone replay on the offensive line play of the two big guards in center, just blocking in there, wedging the nose guard out of there. Now Jones goes flying up. There's a nice hole in there. Nice hole blocked by that powerful offensive line. Andy Kaler, Jake Young, and John McCormick.
13-18. Keith Jones also sat out last week's romp over Kansas with an injury. Gets the handoff in the counterplay, comes right, and his men are driven down by a trio of tacklers led by Wade Weller, number 28, a redshirt former walk-on, now a senior from Tulsa. One of the 11 on defense for Oklahoma State. Let's take a look at who all they have out there. Defensive line, Reuben Oliver starts at nose guard.
He's just a freshman.
Marcus Jones and David Bailey are the tackles.
David Bailey's been the most outstanding.
Ricky Shaw and Ron Williams at the end. Second down, 8. No score, opening moments of the game. Dive play left. Taylor pitches and drops. David Bailey's got him.
Steve Taylor, the quarterback, to the right of your screen. Man in motion. Hilly coming down the line of scrimmage now. Fakes the fullback, comes out. Great defensive line play. He cancels the fullback going in on a dive, then takes the quarterback. Nice job by David Bailey, number 98.
3rd and 11 for the Cornhuskers. For the season, they are averaging an excellent 50% of third down conversions.
Most of those are short yardage.
Exactly, Dick. Taylor back, in trouble. This is where he's so dangerous, but he cannot get out of the tackle. Marcus Jones, number 60.
Big Marcus Jones. That's the second sack on the year for him.
And that brings in another element of this game because John Croker is back to punt for Nebraska. He's had a very inconsistent year. Barry Sanders is the #1 punt returner in the country. There's Croker. 36.4. Barry Sanders waits at the 10. He's already returned 2 for touchdowns this season. Nice high kick. Sanders lets it go over his head.
Moves it out to the 20.
Touchback. The Oklahoma State defense has held on its first test of the afternoon.
Introducing Toyota Corolla for 1988. Dramatic new looks that'll literally stun you. Performance that'll surprise you. And value that is legendary. For 1988, it's a whole new dimension for Corolla. Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
Toyota. I'm State Farm Agent Jim Cornwell. When I first insured John and Susan Rager, I told them my job was just beginning. Now there's a new car in the family, a new home, and a new Rager, John Lawton. We just got together for a family insurance checkup. That's State Farm's way of helping you keep up with all your changing insurance needs. Because if you're anything like the Ragers, things can change pretty fast.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Tomorrow, there's NFL replacement game action as the New Orleans Saints take on Mike Ditka and the Chicago Bears. It all starts with the NFL Today on CBS Sports.
This is Jim Nantz in New York. They're going crazy at the Carrier Dome. The first play from scrimmage, Rob Moore takes the pass 80 yards after a Penn State defender fell down. Touchdown for Syracuse, 7-0 in the opening minute. Let's go back to Vernon Dick.
Hi, Jim. Isn't that interesting that Syracuse tried that long play? That's exactly what Oklahoma State had in mind when they went deep to Gerard Green, but Gundy overthrew him. So we are scoreless with 11 minutes to go. First quarter, Gundy will throw again. He's such a terrific scrambler. Finds his tight end out of the double tight end set. No, it's the wide receiver, Hartley Dykes. The junior out of Bay City, who was the #1 receiver in the Big 8 with 32 coming in.
Mike Gundy, the quarterback, always is on the verge of scrambling. Now, he's right in the middle of your screen. Now, he won't stay there very long. See, he moves out of that pocket, throws the crossing patterns, in this case, to Hartley Dykes, who's the big physical receiver, and you better tackle him and hang on because he can run out of those arm tackles.
Gerard Green enters the lineup now on first down 10, taking the place of Ronnie Williams. First and 10, Oklahoma State. Gundy, two-step drop, fires it high, caught by Gerard Green, the junior out of Port Arthur, Texas. Tackles made by Lorenzo Hicks and Mark Blazek. Let's complete the Nebraska defense. Leroy Etienne and Steve Forch are the linebackers.
Outstanding pair.
And the defensive secondary, Hicks, who just made that tackle, along with Charles Fryer, Brian Washington, and Mark Blazek. Second down and 3. Pat Jones looks on. A double tight end set now on this short yardage situation for Oklahoma State. They fake it to Thurman Thomas. Gundy fires it out. Nice little nifty play. Thurman Thomas, having taken the fake, gets the pass.
You know what happens so many times in those situations is that the defense watches the ball, they see the handoff, then they see the quarterback take it out, then they drop attention. They break away from him and look to the quarterback, then he sneaks out of the backfield and takes a little check down, first down.
Mike Gundy was the Big 8 Offensive Player of the Week for his performance a week ago in the win over Colorado. 21 of 28. And he's hitting 63% of his passes.
He's 56% on his career, and he's got 2 years to go.
Coaches said if he learned to throw short, he'd be hitting 75%. Here's Thurman Thomas. Thurman Thomas with 5 consecutive 100-yard-plus games this season.
He is a great running back. Regardless, at any level, when you watch this guy run, he will run successfully in the National Football League.
2 years ago, as a sophomore, Thurman Thomas had a terrific season, 1,650 yards.
He's only 47 yards off that pace this year.
Then he had an ankle injury. It bothered him most of last year, a knee surgery, rather. And he was down around a 700-yard season. Second down and 13. Gundy on the roll. Lobs it out for Hartley. Dykes diving try, incomplete at the 21. Curtis Mayfield it was.
Number 17. He's another pretty good receiver. 6'1". He looks bigger and heavier than the 165 pounds as listed. But he was in the slot, sort of ran an out and up.
There's that Syracuse Penn State score. The 80-yard reception on the first play. And Notre Dame over Air Force. They haven't handled Air Force in recent years. 3 wide receiver set on 3rd and 13. Oklahoma State is an excellent 56% on third down conversions, but most of them are 3rd and 5 or less.
High snap.
Gundy dropped at the 39. Neil Smith, number 99.
What really fouls up a quarterback in the shotgun formation, Vern, is when you get the high snap, as you'll see to the right side of your screen. Now he cannot read the defense. It's a little tougher to locate his receivers. He moves up inside the rush, starts to scramble, then comes Lee Smith, number 99, Neil Smith, rather, and this guy can really fly that defensive end.
That will bring on for Pat Jones, Kerry Cooper.
Great punt.
The punter. Dana Brinson waits for it. Heads right, looks for the wall. Can't find it. Down at the 15. Flag is down. Way upfield at the 35.
Vern, do you think these kids are fired up? Holy mackerel. They're coming right out of their helmets.
That was Mako Moore who made the tackle. And our referee is John McClintock, and we'll check the infraction. Looks like it'll be against Nebraska.
With the clipping penalty on the run back, it'll be first down.
And that first down will come from the 7.5-yard line. Nebraska's second offensive possession of the first quarter. 8:20 to go, no score.
Well, if Pat Jones' prediction that the first 5 minutes of the ballgame is going to be critical, he's doing all right now.
Timeout has been called. 8:20 to go, scoreless first quarter. 145-pound strong free safety.
Direct your attention on this read play from the end zone on the offensive lineman and fullback blocking at the point of attack. We're going to come at the low angle now. Watch the slow angle, Vern. Watch the big lineman pull. Here they go, getting out there. Fullback, Micah Hebel. Watch the kickback block right there. Bang! Rope was right up in front of the official. Look at that hold. Nice hold. Good speed, too. He gets through that. Doesn't take much time.
That was Micah Heibel, but there was a penalty, and they'll wipe it out.
It'll be first down.
I didn't hear what the infraction was, so they'll go back inside the 5. First down and 13. holding was the call, half the distance. Power eye set. They tried a left guard spot, nothing there.
Why, Sim Drain, number 53, the inside linebacker for Oklahoma State, really stepped up and took on Micah Heibel, number 48, the fullback, and stuffed the point of attack.
Both teams have been stingy on defense in the first quarters of the 5 games they've played. Both have given up exactly 1 touchdown.
Isn't that amazing?
It
5
is.
games played and give up 1 touchdown.
And field position now in favor of Oklahoma State after the opening sequence. Henley Hawkins has come in as a wingback now. And again, the power eye set on 2nd and 12. That's Jones in motion. And Taylor wants to pass. Has a man wide open. The tight end, Tom Banderas. First down, out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
With the strong running attack, linebackers automatically have to acknowledge the run. They do. The tight end crossing from the left side of your screen. Tom Banderas, 87, there he is in the middle of your screen. Big, strong guy at 245 pounds. He can move.
Banderas is out. Milliken in. 1st and 10. Little quick flip left side. Dana Brinson. Across the 50 to the 45-yard line.
The quarterback on this play, Steve Taylor, is faking away from a quick screen. See him draw the linebackers to the defensive left. Now he throws back with big Bob Sledge, number 62, the offensive tackle out there. Follow his block. Boom, he gets a block right there. Now he's upfield and running, and this Brinson can really move.
Thus, from a 2nd down and 12,
they're moving the ball in chunks.
Inside the 7, Brinson coming in with 6 receptions. It's 1st and 10, Nebraska at the 45. They fake the dive, pitch out. Jones tackled at the 35. Now to find out what else is happening in college football, let's go back to our studios and Jim Nance.
All right, Vern, a little breathing room now for LSU, only leading 14-9 at halftime over Kentucky. 2 touchdowns in the 3rd. Here's one by Eddie Fuller, 45 yards, and it's now 28-9 to Tigers. And to update Florida's Emmitt Smith, not as serious as first thought. Only a sprained wrist. He should return to the game. Let's go back to Vernon Dick.
2nd down, Michael Heibel, the fullback, gets the carry, and that's a 1st down, Nebraska, inside the 30.
And he doesn't get the carry very often. He probably gets really excited when he hears his number called in the huddle, because they're going to give the ball to Keith Jones more often than not, and the other guys with the great speed.
Oklahoma is the leading rushing team in the country, but Nebraska not that far behind. Under 100 yards back behind Air Force.
Playing a tough schedule, too.
1st down and 10 as Steve Taylor looks over the OSU defense. Blitz is threatened. Taylor pops it out, has a man free. There's a flag down. Rod Smith, touchdown at the play stand.
What a great execution on that drive. You have a penalty.
Here's John McClintock.
Offside on the defense. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
That's a touchdown for Rod Smith.
Rod Smith faked the option play, runs the slant pattern to Rod Smith. Everybody playing run, hits it for a big one. You have to tackle that slant man. You can't let him hit that crack.
That's the 13th catch for the senior out of Thornton, Colorado, and his 3rd touchdown this year. And the Cornhuskers take an early lead as Chris Drennan, the sophomore from California, comes on to tack on the extra point.
Now from way up on top, you'll notice the quarterback reverse pivot. The same action he starts the option with. Now he throws the slant, driving slant pattern right in there. Defensive back cannot make the tackle. Breaks it, runs in there for the 6-point play.
So Nebraska draws first blood. They score with 5:48 to go. First quarter.
If you were stranded on
92 yards in 6 quick plays, and Rod Smith gets the touchdown at the 5:48 mark of the first quarter.
Now that 6 plays for a touchdown is a little faster than they've been doing it all year. Nebraska's been scoring a touchdown every 14 plays, and believe me, Vern, that's outstanding.
Well, they just cut the average in more than half. That's right.
That's a machine.
Drennan will kick off. Barry Sanders, who started this season with a 100-yard kickoff, is back to return, and they kick it away from it is Sanders, number 21.
He has some shake. Look at that.
That's one reason Oklahoma State is averaging 24.8 yards per kickoff return.
And he's averaging 32 yards a return. This is something, Vern, you can't coach. Now follow the running back. He picks up a good block, and he sees things. He has good vision. Now look at that little shake and break there. Now watch him drop his hips down right here. See him get the center of gravity down, gives him a shake. He's going to break back around. Good spin move. That's athletic talent, not coaching.
1st and 10, Oklahoma State. They trail as Barry Sanders looks on. 7-0, Nebraska. Ronnie Williams is the motion man. Thurman Thomas tripped up as he gets near the 28-yard line. Fumble. Nebraska's ball. First fumble this year for Thurman Thomas.
First fumble for Thomas, coming into this ball game with 120 carries. Let's see, he had the ball tucked away nicely. Here's the line of scrimmage. It's going to be handed off deep. It's a good exchange. He has the ball in 2 hands. Now he tucks it away. He's up in the air. It's pulled away. He gets the ball out away from his body. Now that is number 80.
Broderick Thompson.
Broderick Thompson. He makes those big plays.
Jamrod recovered it. First fumble for Thurman Thomas. And Nebraska with a chance to increase the lead. Taylor. Good nail. Good play. Ricky Shaw. Senior out of Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Now they call him a defensive end. Stand-up position guy. He's 6'4", 230, and he gets after you. He can whip the tight ends, and he can move to the football.
Sellout crowd on hand as Nebraska comes to town, trying to keep alive a victory streak that has reached 25 in a row. 2nd down, 11. Taylor in trouble again. This time it's the nose tackle, Reuben Oliver.
Reuben Oliver, 55, the nose tackle, is a freshman, and this is his first start. Now, he'll be stunning. See him slant around to the right corner of your screen. He's coming right around on the quarterback. The quarterback didn't see that man coming around from the outside. He saw the defensive end, or tackle as they call it, crashing. Thought he had a secure play. Ended up not being a good play.
3rd down and 13. 4:20 to go, first quarter. Richard Bell is the motion man. Quarterback draw. And Taylor dances down to the 27-yard line. Short of the first down, it will be a field goal attempt. Ricky Shaw makes the tackle, number 97. And a player's down, Dick, for Oklahoma State. It's Ricky Shaw, the man who made the stop.
He came into the ball game with an injured shoulder and was having problems with it. I saw him in the practice field, and you did too Friday. Remember? He went down and either, no, it wasn't Friday. It's the day before.
Thursday.
It was Thursday.
We've been here a long time.
Yeah, we've been here a while. Let's see if we can see what happened on the play. He'll be to the right side of your screen. Now he's folding back inside. He'll be coming from your right side. There he is, number 98, making the play, going down. Really, it doesn't tell us much right there.
Lost his helmet. May have caught an elbow in the face, but he's up. Timeout has been called. We'll be right back. 4:12 to go, first quarter. Nebraska trying to capitalize on the Thurman Thomas fumble. Chris Drennan didn't try a field goal the first 3 games. He is 5 of 5 for the season, but his longest has been 43, and that's what this one is.
Looked like they put his kicking foot on the wrong side of his body. Coming from the left there.
Plenty of distance. No good.
That's his first miss.
So the Cornhuskers unable to capitalize on the Thurman Thomas fumble, and Oklahoma State gets it back, still trailing by 7.
It looks like the ball hooked to the right. Now remember, he's a left-footed kicker. Nice placement, good snap. He gets it down, and he hooks it to the right with the swing of the leg coming on around. There it is, clearly out of bounds of that goal post. That goal post is 23 feet 4 inches wide. You ought to be able to hit that one, shouldn't you?
Mike Gundy back at quarterback. Fakes the draw play. No, hands it off to Thurman Thomas. The senior out of Missouri City, Texas, and Neil Smith makes the tackle, number 99. In his career against Nebraska, Thurman Thomas has yet to rush for 100 yards.
And they're 15-1. 15 wins and 1 loss when he rushes for 100 yards, so it's important that he gets 100 yards.
His best effort against Nebraska was his sophomore season when he gained 71. Had only 12 as a freshman and 33 last year. And 6 yards on 4 carries today. Here's Gundy as a man. Ronnie Williams, number 15 from Wichita Falls, Texas.
Now here's a guy that was a quarterback just a year ago and not a bad quarterback. Good drop back pass. He's a big guy at 6'4", 220. Quarterback coming straight back. Little play action. Frees the linebackers. That clears that zone underneath for him to come back inside. Now Lorenzo Hicks comes in and makes the play. You've got to give that guy a little cushion because he's big and physical, and he can beat you deep as well.
There's Ronnie Williams, who was a starter the first 3 games last year. And against Houston, had a bad first half. They replaced him with a true freshman, Gundy, moved him to wide receiver. And if you're wondering if they might not take advantage of him at wide receiver with his passing ability, the answer is yes. And if you think Nebraska is not aware of it, the answer is no. They're very much aware of it.
We sat there the other day and talked to Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator. He says, with all those quarterbacks they have spread around at different positions, we're ready for everything. There's Jones. I like those intense guys, you know, and it rubs off on the players.
3rd and 1.
I think they made that burn.
Quarterback sneak up the middle.
You know, getting back to Ronnie Williams, this guy's problem was not that he couldn't throw the ball. He just threw it to the wrong color jersey too often. He had 22 pass interceptions and only 6 touchdowns. Now, he'd still be playing quarterback if he turned that around.
Oklahoma State gets the first down. They move the chains with 3:15 to go first quarter. And the Cowboys trail. There's Ronnie Williams, 6'4", 220. And on the other side, Hartley Dykes, 6'4", 206. And the cornerbacks for Nebraska are small. Incomplete. Hartley Dykes, the intended receiver.
This guy came through the coach's office the other day, and he can't even sit still. I'm talking about Mike Gundy. He's one of those gym rat guys. He's always around the gym, and he's an honor student. He was an honor student in high school, a national honor student. But he just loves athletics, and he loves to be in that atmosphere of the gym, and there's a little bit of that in his personality as he plays quarterback.
Terrific scrambler. Terrific scrambler. 2nd down and 10.
Trying to solve a problem with some defensive stuff, I'm sure.
Thurman Thomas dragged down by the shirt. Steve Forch, the linebacker, number 38, made the stop and comes up limping. Doug Welniak is his backup, and we'll see if they send Welniak in. Pat Jones is, by percentage, the winningest coach in the history of Oklahoma State after 40 games. Lynn Pappy Waldorf is number 2.
The old University of California great football coach in the late 40s. Got the opportunity to know him pretty well when I was coaching at Stanford as a young assistant. Outstanding man, now deceased.
3rd and 12. Gundy, play fake, in trouble. Incomplete for the tight end, Brian Keith.
See, that's where he's really effective. Here's what I was talking about earlier. He gets back there. Actually, the coaches like to see him scramble. He comes off the play fake. He has great awareness where everybody is. Now here, Jamrog, you're chasing him a little bit, and this is when he's dangerous. This is when he comes up with the big play.
However, that one didn't work, so Gundy's on the bench. Kerry Cooper on the punt, and that is a superb punt. Dana Brinson waits for it, makes the catch, driven down at the 20-yard line.
This is what they wanted to do. They wanted to kick the ball to the sideline and defense a smaller area of the field. Well done that time.
Coming up tomorrow after that 46-yard punt, the NFL Today begins at 12:30 Eastern, and then the Saints at Chicago. Most of you will see that. The Rams at Atlanta, Philly at Green Bay. Second game tomorrow, the Giants at Buffalo, St. Louis at San Francisco. As this confusing circumstance in the NFL comes to a conclusion, the replacement teams will play tomorrow for the final team time. 50,000 on hand here at Lewis Field in Stillwater. Pitch out left, Keith Jones. Boy, he's getting through that line of scrimmage.
He really is. That time, Sim Drain, number 53, the right linebacker, committed inside. And it's fine if you commit inside, but you better make the play. If you don't make the play, then you're not there to fill it when they get off tackle. That happened on that play. And this guy has that great speed, one of the fastest players ever at Nebraska. And when you compare the great people they've had in the past, you're saying a lot.
Biggest play of his season thus far was the 62-yard run that salted the win over Arizona State. 2nd down and 1. And they slip it to the fullback, Micah Heibel, number 48. Marcus Jones with a tackle, and that should be good for the 1st down. Keith Jones on the left, Thurman Thomas on the right. And Jones with a 6.2 yards per carry average, and they are number 1 and 2 in the Big 8. And Thomas with a narrow lead over Emmitt Smith, the Florida freshman sensation.
And Jones led the Big 8 last year in rushing with 830 yards and 14 touchdowns.
Thurman Thomas led it a couple of years ago. Double tight end set now. Morgan Gregory, the wide receiver. They pitch it. And again, he breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage, and a big gain for Keith Jones.
You know, Keith Jones is running more physical than I have seen him run on television in the past. He's only 5'10", 180 pounds, but he's breaking tackles. Tailback deep to the left of your screen, toss it to him, gets it tucked away. Good blocks at the point of attack. Now, good balance. See him put the hand down, come up. Not going down on first contact.
You know what that indicates to me, too, Dick, is that big offensive line of Nebraska is winning the battle up front.
They are. They really manhandle them a little bit up there at 270, 265, 250, 270. And I actually think they're bigger than they list them in the program. I saw those guys on the field yesterday. Vernon, what did I say to you?
Said they were bigger than your Eagle team.
They look bigger and more physical than my football teams in pro football.
Well, they have a 30-pound per man average across the line. And that may really tell in the 4th quarter. There's Tom Osborne looking on.
That's what Tom said hopes happens, is wear him down.
Taylor with a play fake and a run-pass option. He'll keep it.
Ooh, nice shot.
Marcus Jones, number 60, makes the tackle.
Now, Steve Taylor's going to come out here, not the true down-the-line option. This is a run-pass option. See the ball up there like that? That's to try to keep the linebackers dropping. Now he starts to cut back, and here comes Marcus Jones at 245 pounds and gives him lunch. Out of Fresno, ended up in San Diego at Lincoln High School. It's a long ways from home to be playing in Nebraska, isn't it?
It is indeed. 2nd down, 3 wide receiver set. They try the wingback reverse. Dana Brinson, 1st down, Nebraska.
Dana Brinson is a kid that came to Nebraska. He contacted the coaches. He was being recruited by everybody else. He's out of Georgia. He says, Coach, I'd like to go to Nebraska. Will you come down and evaluate me? They did. Here he is playing for Nebraska.
And they stopped the chain on the 1st down. Or stopped the clock, rather.
You know, Vern, if we get any higher up here, they're going to have to give us oxygen by halftime. Hopefully, are we up here?
We don't have the blimp here, folks, but we're at the same level he would be hovering. That's the end of the 1st quarter with our score. Nebraska 7, Oklahoma State nothing. CBS Sports coverage continues after this message and a word from your local station. They tried to draw play. Keith Jones knocked off his feet at the 37-yard line. One of the few unsuccessful 1st down plays for the Cornhuskers so far. They have been averaging, Dick, 7.9 yards on 1st down.
That's outstanding. That's beyond outstanding. That's almost not real. The Oklahoma State staff is going to have to continue with their game plan and add a few more stunts, dogs, and try to get the minus yardage on 1st down. They can't take them on physically.
Nebraska comes in with an average of 453 yards per game, and they're well on track with that after their 1st quarter effort. 2nd down and 9. Now power eye set. Taylor still has it and looks back to his left, settles for his secondary receiver and overthrows it. It'll be 3rd and 9.
He wanted to go to deep to Tom Banderas. It wasn't there. Well covered by Mel Gillum, number 2.
You said during the break that you thought this was a critical defensive series early for Oklahoma State.
Well, if they can stop them here, that gives them psychological momentum. But if they don't, that puts them down 14-0. And playing catch-up with Nebraska is tough. I mean, it's tough enough to play them even, let alone catch-up.
3rd and 9. 3rd and 10 officially. From the 37-yard line. Backs in the eye. Brian Carpenter has come in now. They're coming after him. Flag is down. Jones passed too high. Jones, the intended receiver.
There they were coming after him. They're going to commit some linebackers that time. One of them might have gotten there just a little too soon. Coach Osborne back there. One of the outstanding coaches of any era, really, when you start
Dead ball. False start on the offense.
You win 81% of your games. That's not too bad, is it?
Not at all. Now, this is interesting. They take the penalty instead of decline it. It would, well, wait a minute. May have been a dead ball. It was a dead ball. That's right. That's why he said dead ball, so I'd remember that.
Yeah.
Dead ball. So there was no option. It'll be 3rd and 14.
You know, all my years of coaching, Friday was the first time I had the opportunity to meet Tom Osborne. I was actually really excited.
Well,
I really was.
I think it's a heck of a tribute to the Nebraska program, and you were, and I know that. And one of the reasons you wanted to come to Stillwater was to meet Coach Osborne. 3rd and 14. Blitz is faked. Dive play to the fullback, Brian Carpenter, and the junior from Ole, Kansas is stuffed. So Oklahoma State has held second time they have done that inside the 40-yard line.
What a difference in areas in the country. When I was coaching at UCLA on 3rd and 12 or 13, if I'd have run the fullback in the middle, they'd have started booing right in the first quarter. They'd get after you something fierce. Hey, let's get that ball downfield, they'd say.
John Croker is on to punt. They're out of field goal range, and Barry Sanders drifts back. Croker was an extraordinarily talented athlete in high school.
He was a wide receiver. Beyond that, he was a 3.8 student. That's not too bad.
Averaged 46 yards per punt in the senior year. But has had problems this season, and it goes into the end zone.
Didn't do it. Almost.
Just missed.
Just missed. Good special teams play. Missed it by an inch. Look how close this is. This ball could have been sitting first down and 99 yards to go. The ball's bouncing to the left corner of your screen. See, he is standing in the end zone. Just moved a little too far.
A 46-yard Croker punt. Oklahoma State gets the ball back 80 yards away.
Do something. Anything.
Number 74 is in at the nose tackle, 5'10", 240. Lee Jones, number 98, is in at right tackle, and John Marco, 93.
Now you can see why they can wear you down by rotating these big guys. And these guys substitute themselves in the ballgame. That's the confidence the coaches have.
Gundy with a play fake, goes deep, and he overthrows a wide-open receiver at the 43. Hartley Dykes.
He wasn't quite as open as it appeared to you, Vern. He had to lay the ball over the top of a defender, and he didn't have room to go for it when that close to the sideline.
Gundy, 5 of 11 for 44 yards. Came down to a choice of Oklahoma or Oklahoma State for Mike Gundy. He's out of Midwest City.
Yeah, but remember this, his dad attended Oklahoma State. Yeah. And, you know, where you eat is a little bit more important.
3rd down and 4. Gundy flips it left side. Thomas in
Great
trouble.
defensive play. That John Marco, now a backup outside linebacker, came in there, made a nice play. Swing pass. He looks downfield first. Gundy takes the ball straight back in the middle of your screen. He looks downfield to try to get the linebackers to drop straight back. Now he turns and lays it out there trying to get the screen, but here comes the defensive end. John Marco making a very nice play. They just couldn't get out there to get him blocked.
Makes it 4th down. Kerry Cooper will punt. Rod Smith and Dana Brinson deep, and Nebraska averaging 18 yards per return.
Great punt.
That is a terrific punt. Brinson over the shoulder at the 15. Now, he may have outkicked his coverage. Not quite. Out to the 34-yard line.
That was a great punt. I don't know how far it was, but it was out there.
61-yard punt.
61-yard punt. And there's no wind really to push it that far. He just punted that far.
18 on the return, and Kerry Cooper, the senior from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, put all 160 pounds into that one. 1st down, 10, Nebraska. They lead on a 29-yard first quarter touchdown toss. Taylor to Rod Smith. They come to the left side.
Oh, great block.
Dana Brinson, the wingback.
Kevin Leitner, the big offensive right tackle at 285 pounds, pulled all the way around the point, that guy, and he just dropped the guy dead right there, 57. Here he is, big Kevin Leitner, to the top side of your screen. See him pulling right there? It's behind the offensive guard. Now he gets outside, right to the right corner. Boom! Look and watch this. That is what you call a power block. Number 45, Rod Smith, gets put on his canasta.
2nd down and 4. And a huge opening for Ken Clark, number 32, who'd come in at tailback, or I-back more specifically.
Lewis Campbell, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State, said, Dick, we can't take these guys on physical. Remember that in the meeting. He says, we got to stunt, and right now the stunts aren't stopping them.
Ken Clark was a redshirt a year ago, sat out the season. We want to welcome those of you who've been watching Syracuse and Penn State. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Dick Vermeil. 7-0 Nebraska leads, and they're moving now. They have had the offensive domination, though they haven't scored one. They've only scored one. That's Brian Carpenter, tackled by Sim Drain, number 53 of Stillwater, Oklahoma. Another fine gain on first down, where Nebraska has been terrific so far in the ball game. 50,000 on hand here in Stillwater, a battle of unbeaten, second-ranked Nebraska against 12th-ranked Oklahoma State. The first time since 1945 that Oklahoma State comes in with a 5-0 record. Second down and 3. Nebraska rather. Ken Clark goes right, gets a good block. First down at the 28-yard line. Nebraska continues to move. So we'll send those of you watching Syracuse and Penn State back to Brent Musburger. Another Nebraska first down with 10:56 to go in the half. This is the 4th time they have been inside the 40. Missed a field goal, scored a touchdown, had the punt on the previous forays into this territory. First and 10, Cornhuskers. Clark comes left. Oh, he's got a crack. Looks for the downfield block and gets a push. Bounces off the tackle. Touchdown.
They're just physically stronger.
28-yard run for Ken Clark. Sophomore out of Omaha, who came in with 169 yards rushing. And it was Melvin Gillum, the cornerback, who was downfield trying to make the tackle. Chris Drennan on for the extra point. Up and good.
Concentrate on the fullback right in the middle of your screen. Brian Carpenter, as he blocks the defensive end on the left corner of your screen, gets him out right there, giving the room up inside. Now the running back Clark started up inside, then broke it outside, constricted the defense, and they all got shut off inside. No inside-out pursuit. And here's the result.
28 for the score, and a 14-0 Nebraska lead. Matt Jones can't be pleased thus far. His team has been outrushed, or out offense, 217 to 35, and outscored by 14. Here's Drennan. Barry Sanders and Mitch Nash are deep. Short kick taken by Mitch Nash, and he gets it out near the 27-yard line. That last drive, another impressive offensive performance, 67 yards this time in only 5 plays. Remember, they went 92 and 6 earlier. Took only 2 minutes, and Ken Clark got the touchdown. Oklahoma State, Dick, needs a spark.
Well, if there's anybody that can give it to him, it's got to be Gundy. He's the guy that everybody in town's talking about. He's the guy that coaching staff has tremendous confidence in, but he can't do it by himself. The battle is being lost in the line of scrimmage, not in the backfield or in the secondary. It's being lost on the line of scrimmage.
From the 26, first down and 10. Gundy back, has a man open across the middle. The pass incomplete, thrown just a little bit behind him. Steve Forch defending on Ronnie Williams. Elsewhere in college football today, Michigan rolls over Hayden Fry's Iowa team by 27 points. That's a final, and we are live from Lewis Field in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Vern Lundquist along with Dick Vermeil, where Nebraska is rolling. They lead 14-0. They have had drives of 92 and 67 yards, and we've got 10:21 to go, first half. Out of the shotgun, Gundy. Defensive stunts in the line, and Gundy scrambling. Lobs it and overthrows Thurman Thomas. He threw it away.
Now, Vern, this scramble right there even though that is not a called play, it's a rehearsed play, a reaction that they go through on the practice field. We saw the drill on Thursday where he takes the ball, goes back with a called pattern. Then if it breaks down and starts scrabbling, all the receivers have an assignment rule now. I go with a quarterback. I stay spread out. I don't cover myself. I get open. And that's what they were trying to do there once he started to scramble. It's a rehearsed, organized play.
3rd and 10. And the shotgun again. Gundy across the middle, deep, has a man. Gerard Green, first down at the 45-yard line. Jeff Tomjack makes the tackle.
Nebraska doesn't play a lot of coverages. Now, you'll watch Nebraska deep in your screen now. They're playing zone. They're not covering anybody man-to-man. There's the hole in that zone right there. They put the ball right where he had to. He almost drops it right there, and Tomczak comes up, the pre-med student, and puts him down. Pretty good hitter for a doctor, huh?
1st and 10, Oklahoma State at their own 45. They'll throw it again, and they'll throw it deep into double coverage. Battle for the ball. Caught! Hartley Dykes, 1st and goal.
Actually, in many cases, that ball would have been intercepted. He goes up inside the zone. Now the safeties pick him up. Mark Blazek, number 23. There's Blazek right there trying to come. He's right in, actually shoves off. He actually pushed him away and ends up making the catch. Heads up play. Did you see him, Bern? He actually shoved Mark Blazek. The officials didn't see it. Hey, don't see it, doesn't count. First down.
They say he's got good hands. You saw 2 examples of it. 1st and goal. Pitch out. Thurman Thomas jammed up at the 5. Thurman Thomas and Hartley Dykes came in the same class. And there's a flag down.
The one thing Nebraska can't do is say, hey, we've got 14 points, let's relax and just have fun. There's no fun in a football game until it's over and you've won.
Face mask, Nebraska. Pat Jones looks on. I think there was an interesting circumstance last night. Pat Jones took his roster, his team, to a movie. They went to one of those multiple cinema places. Tom Osborne took his Nebraska team to a movie. They wound up at the same place. The movie let out. The 2 teams came out to get on the buses, and they had a confrontation. And Pat Jones told us there's a little finger pointing, and it got a little tense.
Well, they should have saved the energy right now. They could use it. It goes beyond finger pointing down there in that goal line area.
Jones unhappy at the moment with something. And timeout is going to be called because there was an offensive mix-up.
Reminds me of somebody I used to know.
I'm kind of glad we don't have a mic on the Dick Vermeil look-alike.
Kodacolor VRG 200 film.
That's good. They pitch it back left side.
They're really blocking that point of attack. Wherever they want to run, they block it and run there.
Ken Clark makes the run, and Jerry Deckard the tackle. Nebraska leads 14-zip. Oklahoma State with a 1st and goal at the 2.
Boy, did that pop your balloon right there? Oh. That interception down there, that really can deflate a football team regardless. And it's really good. They've got to be mentally tough right now. Mentally tough right now, Vern. They really do.
LSU rolling over Kentucky. 1st and 10. Option play. Taylor still has it. And he picks up a quick 5 out to the 35.
Ball on the Nebraska 35.
That enthusiasm after the 47-yard catch by Hartley Dykes is dissipated now, as Oklahoma State squandered a wonderful opportunity to cut the lead in half. Amazing how 50,000 can quiet down so quickly. 2nd down. They come to the left, reverse to Dana Brinson. Taylor's in front, and they've got him fooled. Melvin Gillum is the only man who can make the stop, and then Taylor trips up his own man as he was trying to lay the block on Melvin Gillum. Rod Smith came over to help on the tackle.
Well executed reverse. Contained man in this case. It appeared to be the defensive lineman David Bailey on that side. Number 98. They got outside him. Follow the quarterback now. He makes the toss. Now see him, he reverses around. He's looking for immediate penetration. He doesn't see any. Now he gets on his outside hip. Dana Brinson's out there. Now watch this lead blocked by a quarterback. Not too bad. Not too bad for a quarterback.
First down after the 26-yard gain. Micah Heibel, the fullback, inside the 35 to the 34, where Rod Smith makes the tackle. Colgate and Army in the third quarter, and Penn losing to Navy. As you check other Ivy League scores, our score 14-0 here, and Oklahoma State just squandered a first down and goal from the 2 with a Charles Fryer interception in the end zone.
I wasn't surprised they threw that fade pass because that was in the game plan. That's what they thought they had to do down there.
Well, and you figure 6'4" over 5'10", the odds are with you. Second down. Fumble. Oklahoma State has it.
That's the break they needed.
Jake Young is the center, and he has a tendency to snap the ball a little quickly.
To the left of your screens, concentrate on the center. See, he snaps the ball just a little bit early, which has no effect actually on this fumble play. The ball's going out underneath the power arm. Great tackle by Jerry Deckard, who comes up there and actually knocks it out with his helmet and shoulder pad.
Sim Drain made the recovery. Oklahoma State gets it back, but they're at their own 31, trailing by 14. 7:23 to go, first half. Gundy in trouble, caught and dropped. Broderick Thomas, number 89.
89 and 99, Neil Smith getting good pressure.
This defensive line, Dickie, is so quick.
Right, Broderick Thomas coming from the right side of your screen, number 89. He just goes right up over over Thurman Thomas that time, and that's a physical mismatch at 195. But good technique on the part of the running back. He can block that guy, but he's got to get square right up underneath the man.
Gundy now 8 of 17. It's second down and 18. They try the draw play to Thurman Thomas, and boy, is he having trouble getting unraveled this afternoon.
They've got his number. It almost appears that they're in the huddle with each call, does it not?
Texas Tech leading Rice by 3 in the first quarter. North Texas State, Corky Nelson has done a wonderful job with that Division I AA program in Denton, and they lead TCU, as you see, and Neil Smith limps off the field. Nope.
Not Neil Smith. I don't think.
Lawrence Pete.
Lawrence Pete. They'll play Mike Murray, then probably number 74.
3rd and 17. Play fake. Gundy scrambles. Looks deep, has a man open. Gerard Green, he never saw him. Now he fires, and it's incomplete. He waited a second too late.
Boy, and I'll tell you, it was a great defensive reaction by Lawrence Hicks, number 8. He was back there, maintained position on the field, vision on the quarterback. The quarterback threw it, and he broke for the football and broke the play up. Good defense by Lawrence Hicks.
That brings on 4th down. Gary Cooper has been terrific as Gundy heads to the sideline.
You know, you can't get too much confidence in the broken play to win for you. If you do, then you're not executing the real offense well enough. And right now, they're just physically getting handled.
Cooper back to punt again. Rod Smith and Dana Brinson wait for it. At that low crouch, and then springs out of that crouch. And here's the left-footed punt. Not as good this time. See what kind of roll he gets. Thus far, an Oklahoma State bounce. And it limps down at the 32-yard line. Time now to present this week's Toyota Leadership Award to the team players who've been singled out by their school's coaching and faculty staff for outstanding performance in the areas of team contributions, academics, and citizenship. Today's game team leadership winners, John McCormick from Nebraska. John, a business administration major from Omaha. And Ronnie Williams from Oklahoma State. Ronnie's a hotel restaurant administration major from Wichita Falls, Texas. Toyota will donate a check in the amount of $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund. They hand off to Keith Jones with a blocker in front. He heads right and cuts it back to the left and squirts out near the 39-yard line.
Boy, when they pull those two big offensive linemen from the backside of the play and get them over at the point of attack, they're bringing about 575 pounds over that's mattering a heck at the defense, and they just steamroller over people.
Second down, 6, 5:24 to go first half. Nebraska leads it. Auburn wins again today over Georgia Tech, and Maryland over Wake Forest. That's the first Wake Forest defeat this year.
Option.
Taylor, look at him dance out of the tackle. First down, Nebraska near midfield. 5:08 to go, first half.
You notice how Steve Taylor comes down and he turns up. He still keeps that ball in a position to pitch it.
Right now, let's go to Brent Musburger and see what's happening at Syracuse Penn State.
Well, welcome those of you who've been watching Nebraska and Oklahoma State. Nebraska leading by a couple touchdowns here in Syracuse, along with Pat Hayden and John Dockery. I'm Brent Musburger. The defending national champions of Penn State with possession but trailing by 20 points. Syracuse scored on the first play of the game, an 80-yard bomb, 2 touchdown passes. There's Thomas trying to bounce outside against that Syracuse defense, and David Bavaro, the brother of Mark Bavaro, would not let him. Here's how we got to where we are in this game. Moore catching an 80-yarder and going the distance on the first play from scrimmage in this game. Then it was Vesling who hammered a 37-yard field goal the next time they touched the ball. They made it 13 when he kicked a 35-yarder. And then on a big third down, touchdown pass at 29 yards, the wide receiver Kane, and that's how we got to 20-0. This is 3rd and 11 now for Penn State. Green, the fullback, in motion. And Kisner, under pressure, will not get it off. Rob Burnett and Ted Gregory come in. The second sack of the game, and there's the mighty nose man, number 93. 17 years of frustration. Now here is Tommy Kane's touchdown, Pat.
And Tommy Kane was very well covered, actually. There's double coverage there from the Penn State defense, but he goes up and makes a tremendous diving catch for the easy score.
And Klaus hammers the punt deep to Kane. Tommy turns upfield and gets to the 30-yard line where he is down. A 53-yard punt by Klaus and an 11-yard return. So those of you who've been watching Oklahoma State and Nebraska, let's send you back to Vern Lundquist.
Thank you, Brent. We're back in Stillwater where Oklahoma State has just held, and John Kroger is on the punt on 4th down. Not a particularly effective punt, but it bounces away from Barry Sanders. May have hit an Oklahoma State player.
It did hit an Oklahoma State player.
That may have hit an Oklahoma State defender. That's the indication from the Nebraska players, and now...
No, I tell you, it looked like it to me. That ball took a very weird bounce, and it looked like it hit an Oklahoma State player. Normally in that situation, you use some kind of a loud call, like Oski, 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 meaning everybody get away from the football. In this situation, though, that was dangerous.
While we were away, Oklahoma State held Nebraska on 3 plays and forced the punt. We're live at Lewis Field in Stillwater, Oklahoma. With 3:53 to go on the first touchdown, Rod Smith caught the pass from Rod Taylor 29 yards out. Then Ken Clark on a 28-yard run to give Nebraska its second TD. Gundy with a play fake. Gundy dances and is tackled at the 22. Oklahoma State did have one marvelous scoring opportunity. They had a 1st and goal at the 2 set up by a 47-yard pass reception. Dick, can they be patient? Must they be patient
here?
Well,
there are only 2 big plays out of this, and the one thing they have going for them, they have big play personnel on the offensive side of the line of scrimmage. They've got to rely on those people and not panic.
Tom Osborne's team leads it by 14. Here's Gundy on the option roll. Back again. Back at the 15. That is the 4th Nebraska sack of the first half.
Roderick Thomas again. That's what's his 2nd sack today. He's excited. He's becoming a leader out there.
Now we've got a substitution now. Neil Smith comes out. Ray Valadeo, number 75, takes his place. Valadeo, a sophomore from Atwater, California.
Look at all these California guys out here.
Darn right. They settle on that Nebraska River.
Playing it up.
Gundy into double coverage again. Yep. Incidental contact is the call, and there is no flag. As Brian Washington was defending Hartley Dykes.
Actually, it appeared to me that he should have gone for the football and intercepted it. You'll see number 5 right to the right side of your screen. Now, go to the football. Go to the football. Get it at its highest point. He doesn't quite get there. Actually, it was a good job by the receiver of preventing the interception. He prevented the interception. In the middle of your screen, number 11, Hartley Dykes going for it. He's a big, strong guy. Good jumping ability by Brian Washington. He prevents the completion.
That brings on Kerry Cooper.
Another long punt. I hope he doesn't punt the coverage.
Dana Brinson, number 33. Good downfield coverage by Oklahoma State. Forces him out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Garrett Limbrick it was, a 53-yard punt.
53 yards in the punt.
And Nebraska takes over with 2:23 to go in the first half. Steve Taylor for the afternoon is 3 of 6 for 77. There's Pat Jones. Was on Jimmy Johnson's staff here, had previous stints, among other places, at SMU, and was a graduate of the University of Arkansas, where he played for a year before injuries forced a curtailment of his career. Taylor on the roll, 2 men in front. Oh, 2 terrific blocks as well, and that's a first down, Taylor.
Carries to the Cowboy 47.
Jake Young and Micah Heibel were downfield supplying the blocks, Dick.
Now here's what it takes, what it looks like when you're right down on the field, Vern. This guy can do both, run and pass. And I'm not so sure as a quarterback that he wouldn't just as soon run. Look at that running ability. Good low center of gravity, good wide base. He can move the chains.
First down and 10. They fake the draw. Taylor back, goes deep across the middle. Caught.
Got it.
Dana Brinson, first down at the 29.
You have to acknowledge the run with these guys. Watch the linebackers as the quarterback fakes to the tap. See those linebackers going right up in there and attacking the run? They have to acknowledge that. That allows the crossing pattern by Brinson right there to become open. See, there's no one underneath that.
First and 10, Cornhuskers going after their 7th victory in a row. They're 5-0 this year. Taylor. This time he picks up 3.
I can't believe they were going to throw 2 passes in a row. They're really going wide open here. They're getting overconfident.
They will inside the 30, though, Dick, won't they, with those 2 tight ends? They'll go on play action passes.
Oh, they love to. Those 2 tight ends, between them, they have 4 touchdown catches in 10 receptions. You know, that's almost 50% of the time they catch a ball. It's in the end zone. That's a nice place to catch the ball.
Something you might want to see if we get the double tight end set, and we're getting it on this play. Tom Milliken and Tom Banderas come in, along with Henley Hawkins. Second down and 8. Play fake. Looks deep left side.
Great job.
Caught at the 11.
Great poise by the quarterback. The play action fake fooled the defense, froze the defense. They blocked the pass rush. He had all the time in the world, and you'll notice that Steve Taylor in that situation appeared very poised. He just waited there because he had confidence that his people could block their people.
Taylor throwing the ball is now 5 of 8.
And he comes into the ballgame only a 44% passer. He's throwing better than that.
Up the middle, Keith Jones to the 5. John McCormick is the best of the offensive linemen for this good Nebraska offensive line, number 61.
Well, they can block. Kevin Leitner, number 57, to the right side of the screen. Now, see this little draw block. He got the defensive end up. Full back there, number 48, leading through. Micah Heibel. Good block, good running ability. He's heading to the end zone.
Time has been called.
Say goodbye.
Now with 40 seconds to go in the half. They pitch it left. Touchdown! Keith Jones, the senior from Omaha, Nebraska.
Here you are, you're playing linebacker. Would you be able to make this tackle? What a question. Here it is. Look at that. Good shoulder level. He gets him down underneath the tackler's pads, and he takes the tackler into the end zone. Well done.
Andy Keeler, number 65, with the excellent block, and Chris Drennan to try and make it 21-zip. It's 21-0 with 33 seconds to go in the half. Let's take a look at the campuses in Lincoln and Stillwater.
Today's most respected sources on educational quality cite the University of Nebraska-Lincoln for excellence. The Washington Times says UNL physics professor Robert Fuller is one of America's great college teachers. Time magazine names Andy Jacobitz as one of the nation's top 20 college juniors. 24,000 students from around the world make UNL their choice for quality education.
The University of Nebraska-Lincoln recognized excellence.
Nebraska has surged now to a 21-0 lead. Seems just a couple of minutes ago that Oklahoma State was first and goal at the Nebraska 2 with a chance to cut the lead in half. But Charles Fryer intercepted the ball, and now, great kick. Chris Drennan kicks it into the band.
Taking a look at that last touchdown again from the end zone, focus on the linebacker to your right side of your screen, number 53, as he fires. Now, it's all right to do that, but if you fire in there, you better get there. Otherwise, you're dropping everything and the responsibility of making the play on a defensive back and outside linebacker, and the linebacker was getting blocked badly.
So Jones gets the touchdown, and it's 21-0 Nebraska. I tell you, I like this flat top look that the cheerleaders and the players have in Nebraska. It makes me feel like it's 61 again.
It's better than that long hair, John.
That's right. I feel like I'm a senior in college. I used to wear that stuff, Dick, and I know you did too. Neil Smith makes the tackle. Barry Sanders the ball carrier. Last scoring drive, 62 yards on only 6 plays. So they've gone 9 plays, 5 plays, and 6 plays for 3 touchdowns. And under 3 minutes each time.
Yeah, and at the end of this ball game, that plays per touchdown breakdown that I gave you early is really going to improve.
Final 4 seconds of the half unraveling. And Nebraska very much in control with nearly 300 yards of total offense in the first half. Total offense now 299 for Nebraska to 89 for Oklahoma State.
Coach, I think we have a case here of a coaching staff in Oklahoma and a squad in Oklahoma State having 5 wins and really gaining confidence and starting to overestimate their physical ability because they actually felt that they matched up in certain areas, especially offense against defense against Nebraska, and it's obvious that they don't right now.
Well, it was 7-0 when Rod Smith scored the first touchdown, and then the second touchdown came when Ken Clark ran from 28 yards out. This was early in the second quarter.
Here he is in the moving. See, a little fake up inside to draw it, and then he hands it off in there. Look at this guy. Good power.
That was not it, but that was a nice run. That's the end of the first half with the score, 21-0. CBS Sports coverage of college football will continue with the Prudential College Football Report after this message and a word from your local station. The touchdown came early in the second quarter when Ken Clark rumbled in from 28 yards out.
Here's a play-action pass, handoff. Actually, not the play-action. This is the handoff to Kenny Clark. And it doesn't matter who they hand the ball to, Vern. They've been just moving the ball real well. Of course, not this well with a just good and great run for the touchdown. Look at the physical power right there.
That made it 14-0. Oklahoma State then had a first and goal on the 2, but had a pass interception. And then Nebraska went for the touchdown. Keith Jones got the 3rd touchdown less than a minute before halftime, and he scored on a 5-yard run. Quarterback Steve Taylor was asked before the game if he expected any problem with Oklahoma State.
We have no reason to feel that we should lose against Oklahoma State. We have a better ball club than what we had last year, and you know we beat them pretty bad last year. So we think we can go out there and score 40 points or more, and defense can pretty much shut them out. So we don't think we're going to have any problems with them. But we play in Stillwater, and the crowd could be a factor, and plus they're undefeated too. So it might be a tough ball game for the first quarter or so, but we think we should be able to handle them pretty good.
Dick Vermeil, that's a pretty good example of quiet confidence.
Well, I think the confidence just, it runs through that whole squad and the coaching staff. They've been winning for so long, they expect to win.
Well, they lead by 21 right now at halftime before a sellout crowd in Stillwater. Nebraska 21, Oklahoma State nothing. We'll continue after this. In quest of their 26th consecutive win over Oklahoma State, and they're in pretty good shape right now. Bert Lundquist along with Dick Vermeil, and Dick, I know Pat Jones was quietly confident that his team would play well in this game. Did he just overestimate his own talent, do you think?
I think he really has, and I think that's a problem all coaches go through. I can remember coaching at Stanford University and trying to find a way to beat USC in their heyday, and we as coaches, we'd get a little better, have some success, and we'd say we're going down to play them in Southern California. Hey, we are now ready. We've caught up with them, and when the game's over, you'd find out, my God, we didn't realize we're that far away from these guys, you know.
Well, it is a very good Nebraska team. As all of you are seeing, there's justification for their #2 ranking. Look at the halftime rushing stats. Nebraska 188, Oklahoma State -12. Now, much of that has come on quarterback sacks, which in college ball do go against the rushing total. And the total offense, Dick, 299 to 92.
Well, you know, they're one of the best football teams in football, and that's a cliche. But when you can run the football, you can win. And what they do at Nebraska, they realize that they're physically better. The program has been so successful. They recruit the best kid, they get the best kid, and then they take advantage of them by letting him be physical on a game like today.
Halftime with the score 21-0. CBS Sports coverage of college football will continue after this message and a word from your local station. 55 from Oklahoma City. They're not happy right now, but those folks who came down here in huge numbers from Nebraska are. Their team leads 21-0. And Thurman Thomas has been held to 7 yards in the first. Dana Brinson goes way back in the end zone. It'll be a touchback and come out to the 20. Terry Blanchard with the kick. And the Nebraska offense heads back on the field.
Did you feel the lean of the field as those big guys walked out there? Just sort of tipped to the left.
Tom Osborne said this is not an offensive line that has the name recognition so many others have with Remington, Steinkuhler, and so on, but he likes his bunch up front.
He thinks this could be his best group. Really, he does. It's a physical group, and they're proving it today.
1st and 10, Cornhuskers with a 21-0 lead. They have the ball at their own 20. Micah Heibel, the fullback, gets the handoff and plunges for a quick 11. This is the 300th game of the Bob Devaney-Tom Osborne coalition. Devaney took over in '62 and Osborne in '73. 15th year for Tom Osborne as the head coach, and Bob Devaney, of course, the athletic director. Look at the record between the two, 243, 52, and 4.
See, that's what I'm talking about. A program wins the game. I mean, they're so deep in tradition. They expect to win.
Pitch right, Keith Jones.
Ooh, great cut.
And he moves it out near the 40. And again, this dominance on first down, so obvious.
You know, Keith Jones is really impressing me with his cutback ability.
Right guard is John McCormick, number 61.
To the right center of your screen. See him pull. He's stepping around there, number 61. He's supposed to be the best lineman. He kicks that man out, moves up inside, give the room for the running back. And the running back, in this case, Keith Jones, is supposed to be a great sprinter type guy, but he runs like a running back. He cuts back, he gets the center of gravity down, he gets the pads down.
67 yards for Keith Jones now. And he gets the handoff again, plunges for a first down out near the 44-yard line. Kenneth Cumbie and Marcus Jones make the tackle.
Oklahoma State has got to find a way to come up with pressure on first down, you know, and probably at that time is when they commit to that. They'll come with a play-action pass and single up somebody downfield, but they've got to get some minus yardage or 0 yardage defensive plays on first down.
Late in the first half, Nebraska was averaging nearly 8 yards per first down play. Tom Osborne looks on. 1st and 10 again. Taylor fires behind it. That was intended for Rod Smith, and Wade Weller, number 28, was defending.
Taylor has a very nice, quick delivery. Didn't you notice that? He sets up quick, and he holds the ball, and he just snaps it off like he's throwing a dart.
Interesting, he came in averaging less than 50% completions, but his touchdown ratio was pretty impressive.
Well, I tell you, when you do both as well as he does, it's hard to, on the practice field, get us enough time to be a great passer.
Second, there's the option play, the pitch back to Jones. And he cuts into a triple tackle near the 49-yard line. That'll be 3rd down coming up. They have had so many great offensive linemen at Nebraska, and just a list of those men who have played in the 80s as an All-American team. Bill Lewis, Trey Nowatz, Grimminger, Steinkuhler, the Outland and Lombardi winner, then followed by Remington, preceded by Remington. Right. And then the Boomerowski All-American, Randy Schlesner. 3rd and 4 for Nebraska at midfield. That's Jones in motion. They fake the reverse, and Taylor wants to throw. Fires, caught. No, incomplete.
Incomplete.
Intended for Tom Banderas, the tight end, and it'll be 4th down.
That's something they don't do very often in that 3rd down situation when they only have 3 or 4 yards to go. They just soon pound it out and run. They're getting a little open-minded here. You know, it's again, I've noticed the center snaps the ball so much earlier than the rest of the offensive linemen move. You notice that? I wonder if they teach that or it's just a habit of the offensive center.
Now, that time he was going for the nose guard, but we've seen him in film going for the linebacker and making contact before the other linemen move. Before they move. Right, here's Croker. Sanders drifts over. Good downfield coverage. It goes over his head, and Oklahoma State pinned back at the 3-yard line.
97-yard field. Whew.
A 46-yard punt by John Croker. And we're at Lewis Field in Stillwater, Oklahoma, on the campus of Oklahoma State, where the Cornhuskers have run up a 21-0 lead. They scored their last touchdown just 40 seconds before the half. We have 12:46 to go, 3rd quarter. Vern Lundquist and Dick Vermeil here in this Big 8 encounter.
I'll tell you, to start out your first drive of the 2nd half down here, you have to really suck it up. You just can't start out throwing the ball. If you throw 3 incomplete, your punt from there, and Nebraska's got the ball back. You've got to go ahead and give the ball to that running back.
Well, and Thurman Thomas is just having a very tough time. They try to quick count quarterback sneak, and that doesn't work.
Was that an intentional play or a bobbled snap?
That could have been. I'm not sure. Went so quickly I wasn't focused.
Little Mike Murray, the backup nose guard, is playing in there for Nebraska right now in the place of Lawrence Pete. This guy is about 5'9", 240. He's a walk-on, and the defensive coach McBride told me you could tell when he talked about this walk-on kid, he loves that kind of personality and that kind of competitor.
That's Charlie McBride. He said of Murray, he's listed at 5'10", but who's kidding whom? That's thrown away, and it'll be 3rd and long, intended for Ronnie Williams.
Ronnie Williams.
Thurman Thomas with 7 yards on 7 carries.
That's a long ways from his average. You have to credit the defensive front of Nebraska.
By the way, the one loss when Oklahoma State and Thurman has rushed for 100 came against Oklahoma. He is the only back in the last 3 years to rush for 100 or more against the Sooners. And he had 100 on 23 carries, but Oklahoma won that game a year ago. 2 years ago. Here's the pass. Good. 1st down.
Boy, nice play.
Brian Keith, the senior from Urbandale, Iowa. A transfer from Drake University when Drake dropped football.
Tight end to the right side of the screen. He'll come down. Actually, it's to the left end of the screen as we look at this. Drop back pass. He sets up nicely and fires just as he sets. You'll see to the left of the screen now. He takes the ball in nicely, tucks it away, 1st down, and this guy, Brian Keith, is a good receiver. They got to get the ball to him a little more often.
From behind, quarterback Mike Gundy, and now from up on top, 1st and 10. Thurman Thomas hit behind the line again.
See, they're getting him before he can even get started. He can't even make a cut, and they're into the backfield.
And again, that's an example, Dick, of the dominance of at the line of scrimmage.
Or in this case, maybe a stunt that a lineman didn't pick up.
Okay.
Just beat him, not physically, but beat him by a line charge.
Tim Rother, number 78, has been a very pleasant surprise for Nebraska this year.
He was a walk-on. He walked on in 1983.
He got his chance when Lee Jones was injured and has played very well and is now playing more than Jones is, who's back and healthy. That pass incomplete. And Jeff Jamrog had a terrific rush then. Charles Fryer defending.
You don't want to throw that slant pattern that far out in front of a guy and make him reach because the defense is coming inside out on him. And I'll tell you, it's tough to maintain concentration in the ball regardless of how tough you are physically. You know, talking about how tough you are physically as a receiver. I've seen so many receivers that wouldn't block a fly downfield, but they'll go inside for a ball and get their head taken off and come up with a catch. All kinds of different toughness.
It's a paradox, isn't it? Thurman Thomas has the high tops, but they've slowed him down today. They fake the draw.
Hit it. There's a stunt that time by Jeff Janrod, number 80, and I'll tell you, he really came around on that stunt, and no one picked him up. And he really got a shot on Mike Gundy. Here comes Jeff Janrod, number 80, a 3.6 business student giving the quarterback business. To the right side of the screen, number 80, look at, not picked up. He stunted inside the blocking protection scheme and caused the bad throw. Boy, he got hit.
Here's the best thing Oklahoma State has going for it today. Kerry Cooper has averaged 48.5 yards per punt. The problem is he's had to punt nearly 10 times, and that punt is not particularly good. But it gets That's a Cowboy roll, and he's going to come out looking terrific on this one.
The big thing the offense did, though, is they got the ball out at least from that 4 or 5 yard line where they started and gave the punter room, and now they have better field position to defense.
53-yard punt that time for Cooper.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Oh, yeah.
It's the rhythm on the road. It's the pulse on the street. City and town, a magic sound.
Feel the heartbeat of America.
Chevrolet. Chevrolet.
Delta Airlines flight attendant Irene Lockwoody loves to fly.
Are you still here? My son was supposed to meet me. Well, I'll wait with you. That kid is always late.
What she loves most are the people she meets.
He must have gotten caught in the rain. He was even born late.
Ma! Irene is what Delta's all about.
Irene. Yes? Are you married? Yep. 2 kids. Late again, Joey.
You love to fly and it shows.
Tomorrow, there's NFL replacement game action as the New Orleans Saints take on Mike Ditka and the Chicago Bears. It all starts with the NFL Today on CBS Sports.
Back to play, first down 10, Nebraska. They have a 21-0 lead in a power I formation. Taylor hands it off. Sweep to the right side. Dana Brinson tries to cut back, and again, good first down yardage out across the 31 to 32.
That play and that type of play with the offside guard pull and a tackle pull has become one of the #1 running plays in the National Football League, and the Washington Redskins brought it to the league. And I was talking to Joe Gibbs, and he says they stole it from Nebraska.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. It worked its way up.
There is honor among those who would borrow.
Might as well steal from the best.
Second down and 4.
Oh, nice play. Nice play by Marcus Jones, number 60. He got in there right where he had to be at the point of attack, got good penetration, and stuffed it.
Auburn defeats Georgia Tech this afternoon. LSU over Kentucky. And Clemson outlasts Duke. That was closer than folks thought it would be. Rutgers defeats Boston College. Colgate narrowly over Army. Navy won today over Penn. Our score 21-0 as you look at other scores. Looked like Gordy Lochbaum might have had a big day for Holy Cross. 3rd and 2. 21 zip in the 3rd quarter. They pitch it to Keith Jones, and he struggles. Looks like he might have it. He made it. David Bailey, number 98, makes the tackle.
Yeah, nice play.
Jones closing in on a 100-yard day.
David Bailey, number 98, who made that play, was born in the town that I'm living in right now, out there in Coatesville, Pennsylvania.
Was he?
Then moved to Oklahoma.
That's a long move.
That's a long move. Maybe a good move for him. He's got a great place to go to school, get a good education at Oklahoma State. Good decision.
1st and 10, Nebraska with the 21 zip lead. There comes that counter play. Whoa,
good play. Ronnie Williams, good penetration, right?
Senior out of Fort Worth.
This is where you're talking about, Vern. If the defense can get some penetration, you'll see the big guards pull from the left to the right side. The penetration got up in there. He got blocked, but he was down on the ground. The ball carrier had no place to go. Good job. Take a look at this again. Here's Henley with the ball. He's up there. Look at him reach up there. He's going to grab whatever he can grab.
Jones comes out. That'll make it a 2nd down. Heibel is the fullback. 2nd down and 13. Henley Hawkins in motion going to the left side. They'll try it again.
Boy, they love that play.
Oklahoma State's getting wise.
Yeah, hey, they're getting a little better in there. They're starting to firm up that front.
This crowd, Dick, it strikes me as just waiting for a spark.
Well, I mean, they just didn't believe they were going to find themselves in this situation, and they're sort of shocked, and they're waiting for it to change.
Well, it's 3rd down and 13 with 8:12 to go 3rd quarter. Sellout crowd on hand. Most of them dressed in orange.
But there's a lot of red here, too, over here to our left.
I tell you, I think every RV in Nebraska is parked outside the stadium.
Love those Nebraska fans.
That's Richard Bell in motion now, number 21. Taylor pulls up, has time, fires it deep. Great caught. Fumble. Out of bounds, Nebraska ball.
Boy, when things go right, they go right, huh?
Rod Smith made the catch and took the hit.
Great tackle by Jerry Deckard. Hits him so hard, he knocks the ball out. It goes out of bounds. Nice setup. Look at him looking. He has good time, good protection. The crossing pattern there, high over the top of the defense in the zone coverage. Deckard comes in and really gives him a nice shot. The ball's fumbled, goes out of bounds. Watch this hit as the ball comes down. Wham! He comes and hit him right there. Good tackling for him. Shoulder pads, helmet up, knees bent, run through the tackle, just like you coach it.
Jerry Deckard is leaving the field, and so does Rod Smith.
Hey, they both hit.
Smith took the hit, and Deckard, who weighs 245 pounds, was a defensive end until a week or so ago. And he's on the bench as well as Smith. First down, Nebraska at the 45. Quick flip, right side. Morgan Gregory, number 19. And the sophomore from Denver weaves his way inside the 40 near the 38-yard line.
That's a quick screen, Vern. You'll note the wide receiver doesn't go downfield. He just takes a step. And then the big offensive Leitner and Kevin Leitner, the right side of your screen, John McCormick, 61. See, they're all out there forming a wall for him. See right there, it's a good blocks downfield and try to give him a cushion. There's enough people out there trying to help him, isn't there? That really gives the running back time to get away from the rush and get out there and get after it.
Second down and 2. Jerry Deckard stays on the sideline. Number 47, Milton Cockrell, Jr. from Dallas, has taken his place. There's the dive played up. The big fullback, 2 blockers in front, and he cuts back to the right. His blockers stayed out to the left side. And Wade Weller makes the tackle, number 28.
Here's a low angle of Mike right here. Mike coming through. He's reading the block of the offensive center, Jake Young, and he breaks correctly. He makes a move. 3.5 mathematics major. Figured out what he had to do to make that play go, Vern.
Heibel now with 50 yards on 6 carries. He doesn't get to tote the football that often.
He must get excited when they call it, though.
Double wing set this time for Nebraska on first down. Quarterback draw, Taylor. And that's good for a first down inside the 10 as Rod Smith makes the tackle.
Did you see John McCormick, the big offensive right guard, number 6? He sets to the right center of your screen, number 61. He ricochets off. Now watch him in the left side of your screen. Get that linebacker right there. Gets a nice block. Look at the time that the quarterback has then to go ahead and really become a ball carrier.
And a pretty decent block from Micah Heibel, the fullback, on Sim Drain as Tom Osborne looks on with approval.
Tom liked that kind of execution. Well executed offensive play.
First and goal, Nebraska. They pitch it to Keith Jones.
Oh, nice play defensively. Was that Vernon Victor who made that?
Yes, number 40. Sophomore from Port Arthur, Texas.
A lot of Texas guys.
You know, Pat Jones was saying that they've done well recruiting there since the Southwest Conference has been down. Not the dominant Texas and Arkansas teams and the problems with SMU. As a matter of fact, the starting center from SMU, Kim Johnson, transferred to Pat Jones' team.
Right.
And is playing some. And Tom Osborne has recruited that Texas high school.
On the offense, it'll still be first down.
Oh, there's a flag. John McClintock.
Talk about recruiting. I checked the starting lineups of Nebraska's offense and defense had players represented from 11 states. Pretty good recruiting program. The program has become similar to the old John Wooden basketball program. The program recruits the great player.
First down, 27-0. Syracuse leads over Penn State.
27-zip.
You believe that?
No, I don't.
Draw play. Keith Jones. Touchdown, Nebraska. His second of the day.
Look too easy.
Jones with 98 yards on 18 carries and 2 TDs.
He's staying with the stat that he came into the game with. He averaged a touchdown every 10th carry. He might be doing that same thing today.
Well, he's certainly winning the matchup with Thurman Thomas for the afternoon. Chris Drennan on to try and make it a 4 TD lead.
This sort of counters that comment you heard from the alum this morning at the hotel, huh?
Take a look up on top. I had an alumnus from Oklahoma State who walked out this morning and said, I smell victory in the air. Victory over Nebraska. The smell has turned sour. Here's Keith Jones on the draw play, Dick.
Yeah, he just broke, well-executed offensive play. It blocked it just as you would draw it on the blackboard. Perfectly executed.
Another long Nebraska drive. Each time. In just a few minutes, we'll be switching many of you to Syracuse. Right now, here's Barry Sanders. And he decides...
Whoa, he's got a shot.
Maybe wisely. How about that? Well, that'll be a spark, even if it doesn't lead to anything.
That little hesitation in the end zone sometimes allows the coverage to overrun itself that time and forms a defensive wall, and he popped it. He darn near took it down. And remember, he had a 100-yarder to his credit. Now, you'll notice as he catches this ball to the right corner of your screen, he starts to stay in the end zone. See? Oh, I'll go, he says. Here he goes. He's pointing direction there. Hey, block this guy, block that guy. He finds the crack. And, Vern, do you know where he learned to run kickoffs like this?
I'll bet you do.
Going to the dinner table at home. He's one of 11 children. you learn to return quick kicks that way.
Here's Gundy back to throw.
Nice catch.
That is a very nice catch. Gerard Green, number 19, makes the catch, the sophomore from Port Arthur, in front of Lorenzo Hicks. But significantly for Oklahoma State, Dick, they came in counting on, and look at that, Syracuse 34-zip. They came in thinking that Gundy and Thomas were their offensive keys.
And they are non-existent. They are non-existent, therefore no points on the board.
Mike Gundy is 10 of 24 for the game now, and Thomas has been held to 8 yards and 8 carries.
You know, Pat Jones told me the other day when we first got here that he was really concerned because on Monday and Tuesday, the squad was sort of flat in practice, and he couldn't figure out why they would be flat getting prepared to play Nebraska, but he thought maybe that they drained themselves a little bit in their big win over Colorado, which was a big game. But then on Wednesday and Thursday, they really came back strong, and he said he was no longer worried about it. But maybe emotionally, that game did take a little out of him.
Play fake. Gundy pumps once, lobs it deep. Hart Dykes, first down at the 33.
Nice catch. Nicely done. Gundy threw this ball right where he had to throw the ball. Now follow the football as it goes to the left corner of your screen. He throws it up high to a big, tall 6'4" receiver being covered by a shorter defensive back. And Lorenzo Hicks is 5'11" against a 6'4" guy. So you want to get the ball up high.
First down and 10. Oklahoma State trails by 28. Gundy goes deep left side. Man-for-man coverage incomplete at the 7. Gerard Green, the intended receiver, and Brian Washington defending.
You know, if they scored here, I think the big thing it would do is just create some enthusiasm. But there's such a physical mismatch between the two teams. I can't see them coming back far enough because you know that Nebraska is going to just sit down and watch the game.
Well, look at that. Thus far, 147 yards in the game for Oklahoma State. Nebraska already with 454. We're in the third quarter. There's the pass. Down the 26-yard line. Ronnie Williams.
Here's that same play that Steve Taylor's been running. The quarterback reverses like he's going to come down the line on the option. So he gets the defense to react to run, then he fires the slant pattern, throws it behind him. Nicely done by Hartley Dykes. Look at, he's sort of disgusted. And, you know, as a coach, I've been in that situation many times, you know, and you just want him so bad for not selfish reasons that it can just tear you up.
They hand it off to Thomas. He comes left, and he's in further trouble.
Hello.
Leroy Etienne, number 47, the junior linebacker from New Iberia, Louisiana.
It looked like initially he might have a little shot coming to the outside as he starts up inside out of the eye. Now see him bend to the outside, following his fullback, and then here comes big Leroy. Inside out, playing it just like a linebacker ought to play it. Inside out, got the pads on him, got some help.
Something comes to mind. Last night, Herschel Nissenson, who is the college sports editor for the Associated Press, was chatting with us. He said today is a big day for Thurman Thomas if he has any aspirations for the Heisman, because he's been mentioned in that voting.
Well, he's been a candidate along with Tim Brown and, you know, Gaston Green and Craig Hayward and those kind of people, Bobby Humphrey, Gordy Lockbaum.
Well, among other things, he may be kissing the Heisman goodbye. He's got 6 yards on 9 carries. Huskers are more than pleased. They look like they're going to go 6-0 before the day is out. 4:06 to go. And the Nebraska band made the trip down from Lincoln. Makes the drive back all the more pleasant when you have won. Now 4th and 4, Oklahoma State trailing by 28. They're 7 of 18 on 4th down attempts this year. That graphic is not correct. And there's the pass.
Great catch. Great catch and very good defense, just well executed. Give them credit. Ronnie Williams comes up with a nice play, and so does Lorenzo Hicks. He does what he has to do. Just a quick out, 3-step drop. Well executed. Ball thrown to the left side of your screen. Now you'll notice as soon as he catches the ball, the defensive back is right there. Comes up and makes a nice job. He tries to strip him of the football. Good technique, good defense, well executed play.
1st down and 10, Nebraska, Oklahoma State. 3:45 to go, 3rd quarter. Gundy to Strep. Oh boy. That time it's John Marco, the junior out of Bellevue, Nebraska. Bad enough you're losing 28-0. You got to spend the afternoon looking into the sun. And that's an interesting Big 8 rule that the home team always has to be on the side where the student body is located.
And that makes sense.
And that's why the Oklahoma State team is on the sunny side of the field. It's a Big 8 rule.
Scramble. Watch the receivers break back to him. He's got a guy deep. Intentional grounding.
No flag? No flag.
The receivers did break back with the scramble technique of the quarterback that time, and he had a man going deep. Hartley Dykes was deep going toward the end zone and open, but he couldn't get it to him. Good pressure by the defense.
John Marco can't believe they didn't throw the flag on him, nor can the Nebraska fans.
You can see him rolling out here. Now he gets stopped up nicely by Jamrog right there. He gets him turned back going the other way. Now the receivers you can't see are coming with him. He's looking downfield, but in this case, John Marco has other ideas.
And that brings up a 3rd and 10 with 3:32 to go, 3rd quarter. Out of the shotgun. Flag down.
Flag on play. Doctor number 37. Doctor number 37, please call Stillwater.
UCLA leads Oregon 14-7. Notre Dame and Texas over Arkansas. How about that?
UCLA is a good football team, and I talked to Coach Donahue prior to coming down here because he had played Nebraska, and he said they're a great football team, but he said, I'd sure like to have the opportunity to play them again. Then I'm talking to Osborne, and he says, you know, really don't want to play those guys again.
Oklahoma State student body looking on. And after the penalty, it'll be 3rd and 15.
That student body will be louder tonight at the party.
That's right. Starts by the Nebraska defense. Gundy lobs it out.
Good defense.
Incomplete.
Super defense by Charles Fryer.
Junior from Burlington, New Jersey, number 10.
It's close to the Philadelphia area, that Burlington, New Jersey. Excellent pass defense all the way. A good pass pattern, too, but down there, you're don't have that much field to defense because you're right there down there in the 25-yard line. You don't have to back up very much, so you can afford to crowd that receiver, and that's exactly what Charlie Fryer did.
So that brings it up to a 4th and 15.
Boy, that's a tough one to convert.
Percentages aren't good, are they? 4th and 15 with 3:23 to go, 3rd quarter. 3-man front for Nebraska. They send 4. Gundy dances. Still on his feet. This will make the highlight film of Nebraska's season.
He's got it.
And Ronnie Williams makes the tackle but loses a yard.
Well, I'll tell you. He's exciting.
And Nebraska takes over. We'll look at it again.
You can see what we were talking about, fans, and the fact that this guy has great mobility. Now there comes Mike Murray, 74, chasing him. He's going to get back up and end up on the play. There's John Marco getting after him, 7-4 coming after him again. He gets it downfield, loses 2 yards.
We now take many of you to New York, where Jim Nantz will set the scene for the Penn State-Syracuse game. Those of you leading us will be kept up to date on the score of our game. .307 to go here in Stillwater. And the handoff goes to Nebraska's Keith Jones, who's over 100 yards for the day now. as he totes it out across the 35 to the 36-yard line.
It doesn't matter who they give the ball to in terms of this kind of football team when they're blocking the line of scrimmage like they're blocking.
Cleve Blakeman, who got his second start of his career last week in the win over Kansas, is in now in place of Steve Taylor.
He did a good job. He threw 6 for 12 for 100 yards and 1 touchdown. He rushed for 26 yards.
Blakeman's other start was against Kansas a year ago. There's the handoff and the fullback plunge up the middle.
They just keep working over the inside of that defense.
Blakeman has come in, and it'll be substitution time now. 41-zip Syracuse over Penn State. That is amazing.
I can't believe that, but it's happening, so I've got to believe it. You know what's impressive about the Nebraska situation, the program? Their football team, in the first 44 players suited up today, there were 13 outstanding students within that lineup.
Know what else is impressive? Last week, Tom Osborne played 104 players in the win over Kansas. Thank gosh they've got a travel squad restriction.
There's a good play by Sim Drain, number 53.
2:05 to go in the third quarter. Carpenter, the ball carrier on the last play. Brandon Colbert, freshman, has come back in at nose guard now for Oklahoma State. 104 players against Kansas.
And they didn't even play Keith Jones or Steve Taylor, the starting running back or quarterback.
And they only brought 60 today. 2nd and 7. 1:40 to go, third quarter.
Watch out, play action.
Pitch it back to Jones, who has 106 yards before this play, and he gets another Nebraska first down. Milton Cockrell and Jerry Deckard collaborate on the tackle.
You know, the quarterback reverse pivots on this play and tosses the ball deep, and then he turns around and he blocks the backside pursuit of the defense. He's been doing this all day. Now see him sitting there, number 12, and he cuts off a man coming down that would normally make that play as he turns up inside from right to left. It's a good technique, and the quarterbacks do a good job of it. Not many quarterbacks like to block. They think those shoulder pads are strictly for protection.
Haven't seen many who do. That's right. 1st and 10, Nebraska. They have 27 first downs in the game. 27 first downs. We're in the third quarter. There's the reverse, the power play coming right side. Richard Bell, number 21. Inside the 40 to the 37. Rod Smith makes the tackle. Bell, a sophomore from Altadena, California, number 21.
Muir High School. Muir High School. A lot of good football players in Southern California have come out of Muir High School.
And we were talking about the number of Californians who play for Nebraska.
Doesn't surprise me. I used to have to recruit against them. And
that's
guys right in our backyard, and we're talking them in to go UCLA, and they're talking them in to go to Nebraska, and you lose some.
That's right. First down, 10, Nebraska. Blakeman, the senior from Norfolk, Nebraska.
Oh, good defensive play.
Keith Jones tackled for a gain of 1.
Brandon Colbert.
He's a freshman from El Reno, Oklahoma. A true freshman, not a redshirt.
Right. Both of their nose guards are true freshmen playing in there.
Final 25 seconds, third quarter.
You can see that, first off, that Oklahoma State has done a great job of building the program, and they have a good foundation. In about 2 more recruiting years, they'll be playing with anybody, including Nebraska.
First down now, 28 to 10. 2nd and 10. Blitz coming. They flip it out to the left side. Dana Brinson.
He made a miss.
And that's close for another first down at the 26-yard line. Ricky Shaw with a tackle. And that's the end of the third quarter with our score, 28-0 Nebraska. CBS Sports coverage of college football continues after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports presents college football. Today's CFA game is sponsored by Michelob Light. When the sun goes down, light up the night with Michelob Light. AC Delco, stay ahead of trouble with AC Delco parts. And by the Stanley Works. Stanley helps you do things right.
We are back for the start of the fourth quarter. Nebraska with a first down and 10 at the Oklahoma State 26, and they have a 28-0 lead. Here's Cleve Blakeman handing off to his tailback, Ken Clark, number 32, who has a touchdown already, and Sim Drain makes the tackle. A very quiet crowd, but a crowd in excess of 50,000 here at Lewis Field in Stillwater. As Oklahoma State came in with such high aspirations but they have fallen behind by 4 touchdowns. It was 21-0 at the half. Looks like Rod Smith, who took that jolt from Jerry Decker. Here's Blakeman. Everything's working.
Good job. No one picked up the quarterback on that option. There should be a defender coming right on the quarterback to force the pitch right now or make the tackle, and there was nobody there. Evidently, he was blocked or else missed assignment.
There's the quarterback. Nebraska, Dick, came in a 41-7 score in that other game that CBS is televising this afternoon. 41-7. Syracuse over Penn State. Nebraska came in averaging per game 325 yards per rush, or per game, on the ground. Already 359. 372, beg your pardon. There's Ken Clark. Conversely, you saw the -15 for Oklahoma State. The Nebraska defense had been yielding yards on the ground, an average of only 1.8. That's going to go down this week.
The whole thing. If you can play defense and stop the run and then run the ball yourself, you're going to win about 75% of the games you play. And then mix in the passing game. I can't picture another college football team being better than the one we're watching play today, regardless if it's Oklahoma or anybody.
In this state, you'll get some argument.
I realize that.
2nd and 5. Sweep to the left.
Turn. Good defense.
Ken Clark down to the 5-yard line. Dana Brinson it was. Well, the Bob Devaney, Tom Osborne years have been marvelous for Nebraska. Since 1970, a winning percentage of 82, a couple of national titles in 70 and 71, in the top 5 times, in the top 10 7 times. Tain't bad.
So what else do you do?
Yeah, well, Tom Osborne just keeps adding excellence to the program.
And he's a guy that coaches. He coaches the offense himself, calls the plays. A lot of coaches now have coordinators for everything, and they become administrators. Not Tom. He likes to get in there and really coach.
3rd and 1. 3rd and 2 officially. They give it up to and that'll be 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. Ken Clark tackled by Sim Drain.
Here you are, a linebacker for Nebraska. There's none, number 9 for Oklahoma State. Look at the hole right up in there. See that little crease? Now, linebacker Sim Drain, 53, has got to get in there, but he's being blocked by an awfully big, quality offensive lineman.
1st and goal, Nebraska. Clark stays in with Carpenter behind Clete Blakeman. Let's watch it from the end zone. Quarterback.
Once we start the hearing, we have to have it within. Well, we'll have to check.
See, and the other thing, that with the power of a Nebraska football team and the quality of it, the 2nd unit plays a lot of football. And therefore, when it's their turn to become a starter the next year, their junior year or senior year, they have a lot of playing time, you know, and experience behind them. Watch this offensive center. Look at him scrambling out there, just trying to wall off a defense or any slant coming from the right to left in this case.
That's John Nichols, who's in at center now, number 63. 2nd and goal.
Good block.
Touchdown. 34-0. Clark gets his 2nd of the day.
You mentioned John Nichols. He must have heard you. He came off the ball and he pancaked the guy, put him right on his back. Coming straight at you, fans. Power and more power. Nichols, middle of your screen, will block to his right. Gets a great block, turns him over. Big hole, bops up there, gets the shoulder pads over. Actually, didn't have to dive in. He'd have made it.
John McCormick also had a big block, and it's 34-0. Chris Drennan on for the extra point. Don't forget, Oklahoma, Nebraska on CBS on the 21st of November in what could be the national championship game.
I just can't picture anybody being any better than these guys.
I can't either, really.
They'd beat our scab teams.
43 to go in the ball game. Nebraska leading Oklahoma State 35-0. Just rolling at will now as Tom Osborne looks on with a pleased visage. And here comes the kick. Barry Sanders. And it goes out of bounds. Come back the other way. Oklahoma State came in with 8 wins in a row, 2nd longest in the country. They won their last 3 last year and their first 5 this year. That obviously is going to end, but that's a little surprising that they were number 2 behind Oklahoma. Nebraska tied for 3rd. Wake Forest lost today. Pat Jones
Well, the nice thing, not all is lost today, because now these people are spreading out and they're going to other bowl games. The Orange Bowl is not the only ball game for these people anymore. They can go on and play, and this football team will regroup, play better, get better, and chances are we'll end up in a bowl game.
Well, as a matter of fact, there are representatives here from the John Hancock Sun Bowl, the Bluebonnet Bowl, and the Cotton Bowl today. In addition, well, the Orange Bowl doesn't have anybody here because the Big 8 winners in automatic invite he down to Miami. There's the kick again, and Sanders grabs it at the goal line. Gets back to the 20, and then the flag comes fluttering down on the far side of the field. Oklahoma State goes to Missouri next week, then at home against Kansas State, at Oklahoma.
Looking at that schedule, really, there's probably only one team on there that they physically won't match up with evenly or even better.
So then they finish 9-2 if they lose to Oklahoma.
Which you can't guarantee that.
No.
But, that would be an outstanding record, and this guy's done a great job here.
8-3 or 9-2 will get you into a
Still
bowl.
41-7. It didn't change, is it?
Nope.
I thought it was a mirage when
they're having a race with us.
Yeah.
See who can get to 50 the highest. Pat Jones never been shut out as a head coach.
He just hadn't coached long enough, that's all. Believe me, there's no such thing as never in coaching. If you coach long enough, you will experience all those nevers.
He's got to feel so exasperated, Dick, because he was so quietly confident that at the skill positions particularly, he could compete.
But what did Coach Osborne say? He says, you know, I feel that Oklahoma State has been talking a little too much. They might be a little bit too confident.
That's been proven out. Barry Sanders has replaced Thurman Thomas now. And Sanders loses yardage. I don't know whether that change is permanent as John Marco makes the tackle, but if Thurman Thomas, the All-American and the Heisman candidate, does not play again this afternoon, he will finish the day with 9 carries for 6 yards, which in his 4 games against Nebraska would be the low total ever. Previously, 12 yards as a freshman, 71 yards as a sophomore, 33 yards as a junior. And he has 6 today.
And you're talking about a guy that has 6 200-yard rushing games.
That pass behind Hartley Dykes, incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 11. 41-7. Notre Dame wins again, bouncing back from their defeat last week. Florida rolled over Temple. Arkansas has come back to lead Texas now. Ohio State over Purdue as the Buckeyes try and bounce back.
They got to bounce back after last week.
Yes. 3rd and 11. Gundy is 14 of 33 for 172 yards.
Oh, there's Smith.
Almost caught him for a safety. Has a man open.
Got it. First down.
Hartley Dykes. First down, Oklahoma State.
They're not hanging it up. They're coming after it. But Neil Smith to the right of your screen, number 99, gets good pressure on him. See him coming from the outside. He ducks back to the outside now, throws the ball downfield. Good presence of mind. Finds the receiver. Throws the strike. He has good field. Oop, I don't know if that was a completion, Coach. That was not a completed pass.
Yeah. 1st and 10, Oklahoma State. Trailing by 35. Gundy flips it left side. Nice catch. Gerard Green, number 19. Notre Dame, as we said, defeated Air Force 35-14 today, and they're at home against Southern Cal next week. USC leading Washington in Seattle 16-7.
Up there, that's really tough to do.
Next week, you'll see USC at Notre Dame at 1:30 Eastern Time here on CBS. J.R. Dillard comes in now as a tight end on 2nd down and 4. There's Thurman Thomas.
He hadn't been on the sideline very much in his career.
Gundy, Ronnie Williams. First down after the 39-yard line.
They committed a pretty good rush that time. There was no underneath coverage. If he breaks that one tackle, he's got a chance to run for it.
At the conclusion of today's CBS Sports College football broadcast, we'll select a Chevy Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school.
I'd give it to the offense and defensive line.
If we can, we will. Thurman Thomas is back in. They flip it to Hartley Dykes. Manages to hang on. He's out to the 46. Lorenzo Hicks makes the tackle.
The one thing you know that they know how to throw that slant pattern, don't they?
Yeah.
The funny thing is they really don't see him running that option. They haven't run the option coming off that pattern yet. They've been throwing the pass, but not running the option running play. Hi, Mom.
Second down and 3. Dykes has now caught 5 for 113. He came in with 32 catches. Gundy, scramble. Pulls up, fires it deep, tipped, almost has luck, intercepted.
That could have been intercepted.
Randall Jobman, number 55, tipped the ball. Jobman is an interesting young man, a sophomore from Lisco, Nebraska. In 1984, he lost his right thumb in a rodeo accident.
That's right.
And had to sit out the season, then came on as a freshman in 85.
But they put the thumb back on, you know.
Yeah.
They did put it back on. He's an agricultural major. Yeah, you go to Nebraska. You learn out there, you have a good ground game in Nebraska.
Third down. Dancing through the middle, Barry Sanders. And Jobman makes the tackle, but that should be enough for another first down. That'll be the 13th for Oklahoma State.
You know, the Nebraska offensive and defensive lines, they're big and strong, but Nebraska has a very sophisticated off-season and in-season physical fitness training program run by Boyd Epley and Mike Arthur. They really do a good job, and they've sort of been the pace setters of college football training, and they've done an outstanding job. Their players are tested continually, and they go through a real good program.
First and 10. Gundy, left side. Up in the air, the catch made by Curtis Mayfield, the freshman from Dallas, and tackled by Charles Fryer, number 10. There's Fryer, who had the big defensive play in the first half. It was 14-0. Nebraska. Oklahoma State had a first down and goal from the 2. They tried to go Hartley Dykes over Charles Fryer. He intercepted on the goal line. Nebraska went 80 yards and scored to go up 21-0 at the half. So if there's a big defensive play, it was it.
That's the big play. You know, Irving, he's a cousin to Irving Fryer, not a brother. Some people thought he was a brother. I heard that mentioned. He is a cousin.
Draw play. Here it is. There he is. That's Barry Sanders. Breaks free and squirts out of bounds at the 31-yard line. We want to welcome back those of you who've been watching the Syracuse-Penn State game, where Syracuse is about to break 18 years of frustration with a 41-7 lead over Penn State. Our score here is 35-0 at Lewis Field in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where a crowd of 50,400 watching Nebraska roll over Oklahoma State 35-0. Oklahoma State is moving right now. They've got the ball with a 1st and 10 at the Nebraska 30. The handoff goes to Barry Sanders, who darts to the outside. What a whoa! He tipped himself. Down at the 11. Sanders, a sophomore out of Wichita, has replaced Thurman Thomas, who has been held to only 6 yards today.
Now, this is not the same defense that Thurman Thomas has been running against, but it doesn't matter. They're still blocking. They're still playing hard. He gets a good block by the fullback, Garrett Limbrick, right there. Now, watch this shake and break. Watch him get the center of gravity down, and watch his feet now, Vern. Watch him. He gets them apart. He shakes, look at him get the foot down, and then he trips himself, it looked like, right there. Good running.
Mark Blazek may have gotten a hand on him. Here's Gundy. Slant pattern. They run. Is it a complete pass? No, incomplete. Hartley Dykes, the all-conference receiver.
I wonder what would happen if they ever ran a slant and go off that. They throw that enough that you'd think they'd come in with a slant and go. They might get a big one.
They've thrown it about 8 or 9 times.
At least 8 or 9 times. And the defensive backs are really committing to it.
Just pump fake and then boom.
Here's the chance you take when you go inside for a ball, especially down inside that 20-yard line. You're going to get nailed. Usually the safety coming inside out or a linebacker coming down your throat. Great tackle.
Gundy flips it out to Sanders, who's got 3 blockers in front. Sanders is hit at the 7 and knocked off his feet at that spot. Barry Sanders, who has returned 2 passes, or rather 2 punts and a kickoff for touchdowns this year, the backup to Thurman Thomas.
And you can see why. You know, fortunately for Oklahoma State, he's only a sophomore. When Thurman is gone, you can see when Thurman's gone that this guy will replace him.
Barry Sanders replaced Thurman Thomas earlier in this quarter. Thomas came back in for just 1 play, did not carry the ball. and he's on the bench with 9 carries for 6 yards. It's 3rd down and 4. Timeout. Oklahoma State.
You know,
Oklahoma State has never been shut out in Pat Jones' tenure here. They're trying to make sure that stays. Jones' team does. And Gundy looks for the slant pattern, finds it in the end zone, incomplete.
Never throw the ball late down the middle, Vern. That's an interception. You should just never throw the ball late down the middle in that kind of pass, especially when the defense doesn't have to back up.
Roderick Thomas, number 89, drifted back from his defensive line spot and knocked it down.
See, the defense has no place to drop. They're already almost in the end zone, so if you throw the ball late down there like this, look at all the white jerseys. It's lucky that really wasn't intercepted.
Intended for J.R. Dillard. Field goal doesn't mean anything, so on 4th and 5, Gundy will go for it. 219 yards. Does he have to call timeout again? Nebraska calls timeout.
Nebraska. May I have your attention, please?
The Cornhuskers call timeout, and Mike Gundy goes over to...
The trouble with the pass on 3rd and 4 down there, or 3rd and 4.5, what it amounts to, you don't get it, you're in that 4th and 4, which is really long yardage down there. But if you run on 3rd, figuring I'm going to take 2 running plays to make my 4 yards and go ahead and score, because the 1 touchdown is going to make the difference in the outcome of the game anyway, but you're more apt to get your touchdown.
Oklahoma State trying to avoid the shutout. By the way, the president of Oklahoma State, Dr. Larry Boger, is retiring at the end of this year. And in his honor, the Oklahoma State football team did something I've never seen before. See the LLB, the decal on the back of the helmet?
Right to the left of the 5
On the left of the number 5.
That's in honor of their president. He's quite a guy. He's on the practice field every day. He's just sort of a break away from the problems of, you know, that there's presented to a president of a university now.
There's Dr. Boger. He's waving at us right now. His wife, Frankie. They have been wonderful hosts for us here at Stillwater.
Great smoked salmon there last night.
That's where you were. Here's Gundy on 4th down. Drills it. Incomplete. Neil Smith applying the pressure, and Nebraska takes over.
You know, getting back to the president of the university, the practice Thursday, we're sitting there down toward the end of the practice, and some players came walk by. They yell at him like they know him like an assistant coach, you know.
Yeah, it was nice to see.
Here's the scramble situation, and this is what the guy is great at. But I'll tell you, when a guy like that reaches out, 99 Neil Smith, you better get rid of the ball. Great catch. Didn't have possession to be called inbounds, I guess.
And it wasn't, and so it comes back, and Nebraska takes over at the 7-yard line.
This kid will be down about 10 minutes, and he'll be ready to go. He's just got that kind of personality. He'll be upset in the locker room, and he'll be ready to go next week. You can bet.
Cleve Blakeman still in the quarterback. Hand off up the middle. That's Tyrese Knox, the 3rd I-back, number 34. 6:15 to go.
If you were a high school running back and a good one, Vern, and you're in Texas, and Nebraska shows up and said, would you like to run behind our offensive line? You're going to make about 100 yards a game. What would you do?
I'd head for Lincoln.
You'd head for Lincoln, and this is what happens.
For the season, 140 yards for Thurman Thomas. 6 yards today on 9 carries, and Keith Jones, 114 yards today. 2nd down, 5:50 to go in the ball game. 35-0 Nebraska leads.
Here's that counter. Nice block.
Richard Bell, that's another Nebraska 1st down.
Real nice block by Derek Green. Came around, did a real nice job.
Take an update on what some of the Heisman hopefuls have accomplished in this mid-October afternoon. Gordy Lockbound, 3 TDs, 277 yards as Holy Cross beats Bucknell by 38. Lorenzo White of Michigan State had another big day. He's right back in the picture, Dick.
Oh, yeah, he's got to be.
38-0 as they win. Tim Brown, 1 touchdown, a 74-yard punt return again. 35-14. The young man from Dallas may be the favorite. And Thurman Thomas may have taken himself out of the picture. Here's John Kelly, the senior from Lincoln, Nebraska.
I'm glad you knew who he was, because I don't even have him on my game card. I'm 3D. Boy, are you organized, Coach.
Oh, how about that?
There's Thomas. He is dejected. But I'll tell you, in watching him on film in preparation, and you saw him too, Vern, the guy can really run. But you got to give him room to get started. I wouldn't mind having him in my backfield anytime. I'd look a lot smarter. I really would.
35-0 with 4:53 remaining in the ball game. They pitch it back. John Kelly, 6'1" senior from Lincoln. the number 4 I-back.
The quarterback executing that blocking technique after the toss that time cut down the defensive end chasing him from behind. Clever technique, very clever.
USC still leads the Huskies 16-7 in the second quarter.
You can't believe how tough it is to win up in Washington, in Seattle, Washington. It is really tough.
Crowd sits right on you, doesn't it?
I don't think I've ever won a football game as a college coach. In about 6 tries.
They give it to the fullback.
Oh, nice tackle.
And Brian Carpenter is knocked down at the 37. Well, the last time Oklahoma State won in this series was 1961. Remember what you were doing in 61?
I was head coach at Hillsdale High School in San Mateo, having a great time. Coaching great kids and having a lot of fun.
I was a senior at Texas Lutheran College.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah. And Joe Cash, our spotter, was celebrating the 18th reunion of his graduating class at the University of Nebraska.
Oh, option. No one took the quarterback.
There we go. Clete Blakeman looks back and thinks about pitching. And he's down at the 33-yard line, tackled by Jerry Decker.
To defense the option, you have to be so disciplined. Someone takes the dive, someone takes the quarterback, someone takes the pitch, and in this case, nobody took the quarterback. Here's an end zone shot, and this shows you how deceptive the option or how tough it is to defense. See the fake inside? The cameraman thinks he's still got the ball. I'm glad he's... now we got him. Here we go.
Jerry Decker finally made the tackle. New quarterback for Big Red. Jerry Godowski comes in. The sophomore from Fremont, Nebraska. Played last week in the game over Kansas. There's a young Cornhusker.
3.8 student, Godowski. They have some bright kids in this football team.
Well, and they've got a red shirt named Mickey Joseph, who was the subject of a big recruiting battle with Oklahoma out of Louisiana, who is redshirting as a freshman. And he'll be ready next year.
And just wait your turn to win.
How about them Huskers? First and 10, Nebraska with a 35-zip lead. One up the middle, Carpenter. Or no, it's Sam Schmidt. Sophomore from Wood River, Nebraska.
Off that play. See, off that handoff inside goes the option. And that time the quarterback came down the line and didn't have it. And here's tomorrow.
The strike has been settled. They'll talk about that on the NFL Today tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time. And the Giants 0-4. Can they possibly come back?
This guy can bring them back. Bill Parcells can bring them back.
You talked to him this week, didn't you?
He can bring them back. Good football coach.
Second down, 6. 2:32 to go. Pitch left.
Oh, good blocking.
John Kelly, number 40. David Bailey made the tackle, number 98.
Excellent blocking by Brian Carpenter, the fullback leading. Did a nice job.
41-14 Syracuse. Dick McPherson's team will jump in the rankings this week from 13 into the top 10.
That's unbelievable.
Isn't it, though?
To take them, Penn State. If Penn State were coming in here and playing Nebraska, you'd think it's an even ball game, more close. And here's Syracuse taking them apart. Mentally not ready to play.
Speaking of streaks, 1970 was the last time Syracuse defeated Penn State. First and goal, Nebraska. And off goes Brian Carpenter, number 29, out of Olathe, Kansas.
Kenny Cumbie made that tackle. Did a nice job. His cousin, George Cumbie, plays in the National Football League.
Played at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Well, the Big Red fans are still here.
Somebody's down, Vern.
And there is a player down for Oklahoma State at the 10-yard line. That may be Sim Drain. I'm not sure. Wait until we can see the number for sure.
I'm not sure Sim was still in the game. I
Yeah.
don't think he was, because they've got some backup players in there getting some playing experience.
Well, while we check on the injured player, it is Sim Drain, number 53. Timeout has been called. We'll be right back.
In places beyond the reach of other overnight delivery companies, you'll find UPS. Because unlike the competition, only UPS Next Day Air delivers overnight to every single address coast to coast. And because we're so efficient, we can do it for up to half what other companies charge. Whether the place is hard to reach or easy to reach. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
5-speed and more standard horsepower than Ford Ranger, we've got your truck. Chevy S10, more power to make...
Ball game, Nebraska leads at 35-0, and they're facing a second down and goal from the 7. 1961, the last time that Oklahoma State won. What were some of the other things that were going on in that year? Well, dramatically and sadly, the Berlin Wall was built in 1961. Our President John F. Kennedy faced off with Nikita Khrushchev, who was the premier of the Soviet Union. The first U.S. manned space launch had Alan Shepard inside. He now lives in Houston. And there's a guy named Maris who hit his 61st home run off of one of those little bitty figures in history, Tracy Stallard. That all happened in 1961.
You show me some class coming up with names like that. You didn't even have that written in your hand. That was all right from memory.
61 was a good year.
It was. Won the championship.
The last year my head was clear.
Gave up 27 points in 8 games. Good defense. Good. The Swimming Mothers. That's what they were called.
Is that where you were also the coach of the swimming team?
Yeah, coach of swimming. We're undefeated swimming. That's where I learned to coach people.
You are a multi-talented guy. So.
No, not really.
Yeah, you are.
I had a lot of good swimmers, but really learned a lot about working with the individual when you coach swimming.
Yeah.
You talk about work. Those swimmers work.
Final 1:12 of the ball game. And 3rd and goal. Nebraska will go for it. Up and over the top.
I don't think he got it.
Didn't make it. John Kelly had hopes of emulating Herschel Walker.
See, they'd like to get up to their point scored average. They've been averaging 43-4 a game, and right now they're at 35. If they get this one in, it'd be 42.
It'll be 4th and goal. And Nebraska, with 37 seconds to go, will go for it. Fumble. Picked up. Did he make it? No, he did not. John Kelly leaned for the end zone and didn't quite get in. Pretty alert play, though.
Yeah, it was very alert.
And the clock stops on the 4th down play. Pat Jones' team takes over. 425 yards on the ground today, Dick.
I don't know if I've ever been around a game that there were that many yards. I mean, a quality football game.
Right.
Have you? I can't remember. Can you? We have somebody down here. Here's an end zone shot. You'll see the fumble right there. It just snaps right out. Normally, that kind of fumble is on the center. And Gardner breaks it in there. Now, let's see what happens here. He kicks it.
Didn't quite get it across the plane.
No.
And Reuben Oliver is the freshman nose tackle. He appears to be the, yes, it is Oliver. Oliver, the injured player.
Yeah. Reuben Oliver is the injured player.
Well, we want to thank the Oklahoma State staff, Pat Jones, and all of his coaching staff, George Wallstead, Lewis Campbell, Larry Coker particularly, who met with us, Steve Buzzard, who is the public relations director.
Yeah, Bill Shimmick really helped me a lot, too. They really did a nice job of trying to help us get prepared to do this game properly.
And there's the president retiring this year after 10 years at the helm here. That's his wife, Frankie, sitting in front, the lovely lady dressed in orange, and Dr. Larry Boger. Thank you, sir. And Pat Jones. Nice to see a man laugh when his team is down 35-0. Not Pat.
He keeps things in proper perspective.
You bet.
And a good program.
Chris Smith has come in at quarterback now. Thurman Thomas, 6 yards on 9 carries. Smith will go for a bunch into triple coverage and incomplete. Brent Parker, number 29, is the intended receiver. Flag down. May have a pass interference call. Now against whom?
I didn't see any. Who are those guys with the hats on?
Vigilantes. That's the posse.
Signal is offensive pass interference.
Okay. Offensive pass interference. Or ineligible receiver downfield. That was the call. So from the end zone, Oklahoma State. 16 seconds to go. Barry Sanders.
They have some
one more block.
They have some quickness in those young kids, don't they?
They sure do. 8 seconds to go.
Barry Sanders did a nice job.
Total offense for Nebraska today, 618 yards.
I don't ever remember being involved with a football game when the ball was moved that well.
Especially not against an undefeated team. Yeah, that's something.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable.
And Pat Jones goes to Missouri next week. He tries to regroup his team.
He'll do it.
This should be the final play of the game.
Oh.
Barry Sanders looks for the wall. Oh, he is exciting. And that should be it. The clock shows 0. Pat Jones and his ball club fall to 5-1. Nebraska goes to 6-0 and solidifies its hold on at least number 2 in the country. Tom Osborne and Pat Jones meet each other at the middle of the field.
He's got a lot of class, this Tom Osborne. Great football coach. Very much respected, not only by his college peers, but by the NFL people. Very much respected person.
The 143rd career victory. And we're going to go to Jim Nance in our New York studio for scores and highlights of other games. Our final here, Nebraska.